candidates. ABC's Alex Stone has the news.
This comes after days of the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department saying they have had few leads, and initially at least they didn't think they had any images either. Remember, Nancy Guthrie was not paying for the subscription for her Nest cameras. It would have stored video. So Nest reported that they were working with law enforcement to retrieve any images from those cameras, but it seemed like they couldn't retrieve anything. This is the first break in the case, indicating who might have been involved in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, seemingly a big moment in this investigation.
The images show a person who appears to be a man in a ski mask and gloves approaching the Ring camera. We have photos posted at KSL.com, and we will talk to former FBI agent Greg Rogers about these photos and new developments coming up at 12:45. Jury selection is underway in the case of Corey Richens, the Camas woman accused of fatally poisoning her husband, then writing a children's book about grief. But the judge had to address a critical last-minute request first. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more from the courthouse in Park City.
The questioning of jury candidates was initially set to be closed off to the public until another local media outlet filed a motion asking the judge to reconsider. The judge did end up ruling that the media could sit in and listen unless one of the candidates asked for a closed hearing. Potential jurors then appeared virtually and answered questions from the judge, defense, and prosecution, like if they'd heard of the case before, if they'd researched it, if they knew anyone associated with it, or anything that could potentially cause them to have bias. Corey Richens sat and listened closely alongside her attorneys in the courtroom and at one point even nodded in approval at one of the candidates' answers. Richens is facing a number of charges, including aggravated murder and attempted murder. She could face life in prison if she's convicted. The court's expected to finalize the jury next week. The trial set to begin on the 23rd of this month. In Park City, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The man convicted of killing a Spanish Fork high school student more than 30 years ago is being released from prison today. Today, Timmy Brent Olson is set to walk out of the state prison in Gunnison as a free man after serving 15 years for manslaughter in the case of Kiplin Davis, a 15-year-old Spanish Fork high school student who went missing in 1995. And because he served every day of that sentence, KSL legal analyst Greg Skorda says he can never face a murder charge in this case.
Even if he later discloses that he committed the murder itself, there could be no charges as a result of that.
Davis's body was never found. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. The top official at Immigration and Customs Enforcement faced questions from members of a House panel today. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy reports.
The acting director of ICE told the House Homeland Security Committee his agents now face what he called the deadliest operating environment in his agency's history.
Let me send a message to anyone who thinks they can intimidate us. You will fail.
Will you apologize?
Todd Lyons was asked by California Democrat Eric Swalwell if he'd apologize to the families of Renee Good and Alex Preddy for officials initially calling both domestic terrorists. Lyons said no.
I welcome the opportunity to speak to the family in private, but I'm not going to comment on any active investigation.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is on the way to the U.S. to meet with President Trump. Iran is expected to be a big topic as the U.S. continues negotiations with Iran on its nuclear program. More from ABC's Marcus Moore.
His meeting with President Trump comes ahead of a second round of U.S.-Iranian negotiations that are expected to happen soon. Iran has said that any new discussion will focus only on its nuclear program and that they will not accept a zero uranium enrichment policy. And so, really, their stance has not changed, and that's really where things stand at the moment in terms of these negotiations.
It's also expected that they'll talk about Israel's government eyeing a possibility to expand settlements in the West Bank, which are currently illegal under international law. President Dallin H. Oaks of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints spoke to students at BYU today about holding fast to their commitment to the Lord and to the church. He said those of diminishing faith and activity in the church are a major concern to him.
God is relentless in his loving pursuit of each of you. Keep the commandments and be true to the covenant so many of you have made to guide you along the covenant path. Never let your secular learning limit your horizons.
President Oaks also talked about humility and how when we are humble, we are better able to hear the voice of the Lord and follow his teachings. It was a very exciting day for BYU students who got to hear from the prophet in person this morning. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff spoke with some who attended today's devotional.
Hundreds of students lined up outside the Marriott Center to hear the first devotional from President Oaks since he became the president of the church.
In such a changing world, it's important to listen to the prophet and knowing how we can come closer to Christ and how we can better understand our divine identities. And so, especially at our age, there's a lot of questions we have, lots of direction we need, and so just excited to get some of those prayers answered.
Connor Gake says he's a political science major and loves a conference address President Oaks gave years ago when he spoke of the divine inspiration behind the U.S. Constitution. Reporting from Provo, Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
First look traffic. Good afternoon, Michelle.
Good afternoon, Maria. We're looking at good conditions out there right now. I-15 running at posted speeds from Brigham City to Nephi. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
Amanda, one of my favorite things to do when I go to the theater is laugh. Any show, it doesn't matter. So one that's designed to make me laugh from start to finish, boy, that is in my wheelhouse. And that's what we've got with Peter Pan Goes Wrong.
When we went into the theater, I'm not sure what we were expecting, but we started laughing early on. And then I realized, I'm laughing that big, loud, obnoxious laugh of mine. But mine wasn't the loudest laugh in the theater. We were all laughing, and that made it more fun.
But you walk in, it actually takes a second to realize, wait, this is actually funny from the moment the curtain rises, and it makes you laugh all the way to the end.
We need that, Andy. Don't we need that?
Oh, it's so helpful, and it's so fun to do in a group of people. It just makes everything more enjoyable.
This is in the Jewel Box stage, and then in the brand new theater,
we've got more laughs with Hallmarked, a spoof on that brand new stage, a new theater at Hale Center Theater to enjoy.
And you can still get season tickets and enjoy all of the wonderful shows, including Anastasia, to finish out the year at Hale Center Theater.
So you can get tickets by calling the box office at 801-984-9000 or online at hct.org.
A warning on cryptocurrency kiosk scams from AARP Utah. Scammers are getting smarter, and Utahns are paying the price. Criminals are using cryptocurrency ATMs to commit fraud, stealing people's retirement savings and costing Utahns millions of dollars a year. Many scams start with an unexpected call, text, or email from someone claiming to be a trusted source, like your bank, a business you use, or even law enforcement. They'll tell you there's an urgent problem and instruct you to take cash to a crypto kiosk or ATM. They may even stay on the phone pressuring you to act fast and keep it secret. But once you feed cash into a crypto ATM, it's converted to cryptocurrency and sent to the scammer's wallet, and it can be almost impossible to recover. Remember, no legitimate organization will ever ask you to pay with cryptocurrency. Learn more at the rising cost of cryptocurrency scams by visiting aarp.org/UT. A message paid for by AARP Utah.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. The FBI has released new photos captured by Nancy Guthrie's Nest camera of the suspect in her kidnapping. You can see those photos at KSL.com. KSL News Time, 12:08. Utah's governor is encouraging the world to come see all that is good in the U.S. rather than believing everything they see and hear in the news about our country.
Governor Spencer Cox was asked about disparaging comments made by President Trump about Olympic athletes and the perception of the U.S. overseas at a time when the news is filled with images of protests and violence. The governor says it's important to remember that those snippets on the news don't represent the country or Utah as a whole.
I hope you get a chance to come and visit Utah. You will find it still a very welcoming place, as you will the rest of the United States too. We are a very welcoming country.
The governor also pointed out that the 8 years between now and 2034 is a long time. Time enough, he says, to resolve those issues and embrace the unifying spirit of the games. Becky Bruce, KSL News Radio.
Also this morning, Fraser Bullock, president of the Salt Lake City, Utah Committee for the Games, talked about ticket prices and when the Winter Games come to Utah in 2034.
We want to be very careful about ticketing, and what we call it is a barbell ticket strategy, where we have some very, very expensive tickets that include hospitality for people that want to have the ultimate experience, and they're going to pay for the games. And that allows us to have very, very inexpensive tickets. In fact, we've committed to having 34,000 tickets for $34.
Bullock says there will also be a school program and disadvantaged Utah programs to help everyone take part in the games. A Salt Lake City athlete is once again a medalist. Alex Hall won silver this morning in the men's freestyle skiing slopestyle competition. He won gold back in 2022 in the Beijing Games, but he didn't get to defend it after he fell a couple of times on his final run. Utah Mammoth's new practice facility is all set to open to the public later this month. The team has been using the facility for practices, workouts, and a few public events, but it hasn't been fully open to the public because it's been under construction. Smith Entertainment Group says they'll have a series of events open to the public this weekend after Valentine's Day, including a first-ever practice that will be open to the public. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. Michelle?
Again, things are really quiet out there, Maria. All of the major freeways and secondaries are in good shape. I'm only seeing some slowdowns as you're stopped at some of the major intersections. Other than that, seeing good speeds. Arrive in style for all of life's events, from the first suit to the first dance. Preparing to serve or starting a life together. Every age, every milestone for nearly 60 years. Mr. Mack, helping you look your best for all of life's events. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, calling for a high of 48 today. Mostly cloudy, PM shower possible. Breezy tomorrow, 56, showers. Valley rain showers and mountain snow showers Thursday, high of 50. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's mostly cloudy in downtown Salt Lake City and 43 degrees. Coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos. Heart on the Hill today, as heart health experts talked about what needs to happen to better respond to cardiac events. We'll talk to an ICU nurse about it. That's coming up, streaming live at kslnewsradio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
This weekly tax tip is brought to you by the Utah Association of Certified Public Accountants. Here's CEO Susan Spears.
Big news, if you work overtime, you may not have to pay federal income tax on part of your overtime pay. Single filers may deduct up to $12,500 and married filers may deduct up to $25,000 in overtime pay. Income phase-outs kick in for higher earners. Keep in mind, this is not a full exemption and does not make all overtime pay tax-free. The deduction applies only to the overtime premium. Here's an example. If you're single and earn $15,000 in overtime pay, you could deduct up to $12,500. In a 22% tax bracket, that could save you almost $2,800.
Get the most out of your income tax preparation when you hire a licensed CPA. Visit uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you. And check out new tax tip videos by following on social media at Talk to Your CPA.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing.
Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
the jury selection process is now underway for the murder trial of Corey Richens, the Camas mother accused of poisoning her husband, then writing a children's book about grief. In Park City on KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, Utah's governor is encouraging the world to come visit the U.S. well ahead of the 2034 games and see that there's much more to the U.S. than what they see and hear on the news. Third, traffic and weather together, Michelle.
Minor slowing around the intersections on along Pioneer Crossing between I-15 and Saratoga Springs. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cloudy again today with a slight chance for some isolated showers. I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 43 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A new lead in the Nancy Guthrie case. The FBI Director Kash Patel publicly releasing new images on social media from the 84-year-old's security camera outside her front door. Patel saying agents worked with the security company to obtain the black and white images along with video. Those images showing a potential suspect. ABC's Trevor Ault has more.
We know this is the first major breakthrough. It's also the first piece of concrete evidence that we have to go off of. For the past 9 days or so, the driving force that we've seen in terms of how investigators have been speaking publicly and how the family has been speaking publicly has been in response to unverified ransom notes, a pair of them which were sent out to media organizations. Those have never been confirmed to be real. It's possible that they are, but it's also possible that they are not.
Today, anchor Savannah Guthrie in a new Instagram post says, "We believe she's still alive. Bring her home." The heads of ICE and CBP facing tough questions today at a House Homeland Security hearing on federal immigration tactics in cities. It's the first time leaders are testifying since the fatal shootings of 2 civilians by agents in Minneapolis. In an exchange with Democratic Representative Eric Swalwell, acting ICE Director Todd Lyons defended his agents, saying they're making targeted arrests.
Mr. Lyons, will you apologize to the family of Renee Good for being called a domestic terrorist by the president and his leadership?
No, sir.
Why not?
Sir, I welcome the opportunity to speak to the family in private, but I'm not going to comment on any active investigation.
The debate over DHS funding continues. It's set to run out Friday. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick facing bipartisan calls to resign after accounts of his contact with Jeffrey Epstein differ from the Justice Department's latest batch of Epstein files released. Lutnick's name appears numerous times after Epstein was convicted in an earlier sex offender case.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The American Heart Association is hoping Utah schools will adopt new policies that will prevent fatal outcomes from cardiac arrests. Joining me now live after today's Heart on the Hill event is Shay Johnson, a registered ICU nurse and the 2026 Miss Rocky Mountain. Thanks so much for being with me, Shay.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So what emergency response plans would make a difference for cardiac events in schools?
Essentially, this would provide a written plan in schools of what's to happen if someone goes into cardiac arrest. And we often think that children don't suffer from cardiac arrest, but 23,000 children last year had a sudden cardiac arrest. Schools are also a huge gathering place for local committee events and community events. And so it's really important that we have those plans in place. And there are several people on the campus trained in how to perform cardiopulmonary resuscitation and the use of automated external defibrillators. This would also implement the funding to have automated external defibrillators in schools, which they can be very expensive, but this is what this bill would help with.
Yeah, any idea how many schools actually have those at this point in time?
Not an exact number of how many schools have them, but they are not always required to have them. Oftentimes schools will at least have one, but it's important that we have multiple on the campus because we need to be able to access that automated external defibrillator and get it back to the victim within 1 minute to provide a shock to the heart. It's been found that people who get that shock to the heart within 1 minute of going into cardiac arrest, the survival rate is 90%.
So what has been the reaction to this change?
We've had a very positive reaction. The biggest concern, of course, is funding, but the American Heart Association here in Utah is working on securing those funds right now. We often think about our loved ones and our children, and that's how we put it into perspective for our legislators is imagine it was your loved one or your child that went into cardiac arrest and there were no plans in place. And so everyone seems to be very supportive of this bill.
So are we just talking high schools and junior high schools, or are we also talking elementary schools?
Also considering elementary schools, this would be through all K through 12 schools because it can happen to anyone at any time.
All right. Anything else you'd like folks to know? Any final thoughts for us?
I really encourage everyone out there to contact your lawmakers to support Senate Bill 244. This is the Cardiac Emergency Response Plan bill that would get this implemented into our schools. It's so important that we have this life-saving technology in place.
Shay, appreciate your time. Thanks for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
Live on the KSL Newsline, that is Shay Johnson, a registered ICU nurse and the 2026 Miss Rocky Mountain. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Looks like we have a disabled gravel truck. This is southbound I-15 at the 106 South off-ramp. It is off to the right shoulder, not causing any problems, but that's about the only issue I'm seeing out there right now. Join Ovation Homes Fall in Love with Your Home event February 14th, hosted by KSL Greenhouse, show live in West Point, and Waffle Love at Sadie's Glen in Syracuse. Details visit ovationhomes.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 48 today, mostly cloudy skies, and a chance for a PM shower possible. Showers likely on your Wednesday, 56, breezy. More valley rain and mountain snow showers Thursday, 50. 47 and partly cloudy on Friday. Saturday, we're going to go 51, partly cloudy, mostly cloudy skies as we move into Sunday, but the winds pick up out of the south. More wind on Monday, cloudy, 30% chance for a shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 43 degrees downtown. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets. It's a mixed day with the Dow up and the S&P and NASDAQ down. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
If society collapsed tomorrow, how long would your family last? If you run out of food, probably not very long. That's why over 3 million American families trust My Patriot Supply for preparedness. Right now, you can get their best-selling 3-month food kit for $100 off. It's 3 months worth of real, hearty meals that give you 2,000 calories a day and last up to 25 years. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com to get your 3-month kit for $100 off. The discount won't last long, so go to MyPatriotSupply.com today. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. I was asked to coach a senior leader who was described by his colleagues as being aloof and difficult. As I observed, I noted that he rarely listened. Without fully understanding, he would then offer thick, layered advice. This is what I did. I put a timer on his desk and said, for the first 10 minutes of any meeting, you cannot do anything but ask questions. But they cannot be questions disguised as advice. They must be non-prescriptive questions like, say more about that. How do you feel about that? What did you think about that? The turnaround was amazing. I can't believe what I've been missing, he told me. My colleagues are much smarter than I understood. My job is to give them confidence, not answers. Learn more about non-prescriptive questions with an MBA from Utah State. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
KSL News Time, 1224. A new report shows the U.S. tariff policies are costing people more. More from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Gas prices and some grocery staples like eggs are down, but other foods that have been impacted by tariffs include fresh produce, beef, coffee. Ground coffee prices are up 34% in the past year.
The Nonpartisan Tax Foundation says the tariffs have cost the average American household $1,000 last year, and if current tariffs stay in place, will cost households $1,300 this year. Watching Utah's money, a typical worker has a long way to go to be ready to retire. A new analysis of census data found most Americans between ages 21 and 64 have under $1,000 saved for retirement. Just about half of American workers say they participate in a retirement savings plan. Testimony continues today at a key trial targeting YouTube and Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. A 20-year-old woman accused the tech giants of deliberately building addiction machines. The trial is expected to go through March. It turns out chatbots make terrible financial advisors. Finance professor at MIT described chatbots as virtual sociopaths, meaning they lack empathy with inaccuracies, biases, and other limits. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 73 points, sitting at 50,215. S&P down by 6 points, and the NASDAQ down by 56 points. That's about 1/4%. On the slope, the ice and the moguls, the world's best athletes are competing for Olympic immortality in Italy. ABC's Jim Ryan says away from the sports venues, fans are competing for memorabilia.
Lapel pins commemorating various events are always a hot commodity at the Olympics. Kevin Stowers got his first one at the 1992 Games in Atlanta and has amassed a huge collection since. He says it's not just about the physical pins.
You meet people through the pins that you would never meet any other time.
Some pins that cost a few dollars in the pin swapping tent at the Olympics can go for thousands on eBay. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
In today's digital world, outdated technology can slow you down. You need a partner who keeps you ahead of the curve. At Les Olson IT, we help your business thrive with top-tier office technology, from copiers and IT hardware to advanced IT services and security solutions. With Les Olson IT, you get more than just products. You get solutions, service, and a team that cares. Les Olson IT, empowering businesses with the tools for success.
Les Olson IT.
Wednesday on KSL, pest control, parking, even trash valet fees. Ask just about any Utah renter and they'll tell you.
They want to charge you separate for every little thing.
Additional monthly costs are popping up all over the place, inflating rent hundreds over the advertised price. KSL explores a new measure that would keep the real cost from getting buried in the fine print. Hidden housing fees, a Cost of Utah report, Wednesday at 10.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. And here's Michelle Rowe.
It's been a very quiet afternoon so far, Maria. Looking at good speeds on I-15. They still have a gravel truck, though, that appears to be disabled in some way. This is the southbound off-ramp at 106 South off to the right. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy skies as a small storm system approaches the west coast today. I've got clouds and maybe a PM shower possible later this evening, high of 48. 56 tomorrow, breezy, chance for valley rain and mountain snow. Showers persist into Thursday, especially in the morning. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 43 degrees downtown.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time, 12:30. KSL's top story this hour. A new audit finds that more than 2 million of Utah's personal data has been compromised by the Department of Health and Human Services. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
A new report from the Office of the Utah State Auditor says the department has some major pitfalls when it comes to protecting data. The SAFE and eChart system used allow way too many people to have access to personal data, and there's not a solid way to monitor that. The audit found the Division of Child and Family Services team that handles public records requests has also put children at risk by having significant backlogs and even releasing sensitive documents to the wrong patients.
On top of endangering patients, state auditor says DHS puts employees in danger by lacking a clear and effective incident response and training program. We'll talk more about this with the state auditor coming up at 1:05. A new proposal would change the way Utahns vote by mail. The bill would require voters to turn in their ballots in person. So even though they would get the ballot in the mail, but they would have to turn it in person so they could show a valid ID to an election worker. Experts say requiring ballots to be submitted by hand may discourage Utahns from voting. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
A report detailing vote-by-mail elections written by Sutherland Institute Director Derek Monson shows Utah has a long history of mail-in voting, and it has historically been secure and successful. He says if citizens are required to turn in their ballots by hand, it could discourage voting.
Think of it in an example of a rural voter where they may live hours away from their clerk's office, in some instances. So that could be a notable burden.
In 2018, over 90% of votes came by mail. Monson says he understands verifying voter ID, but there are methods that will not create undue burden on citizens. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
The Mormon Women for Ethical Government has filed a motion to intervene in a federal lawsuit that challenges Utah's new congressional map. The lawsuit was filed last week by Representatives Celeste Malloy and Burgess Owens against Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson. Co-executive director of the group, Emma Petty Adams, says that they have been part of this fight since day one, and they want it to stay that way.
As one of the original plaintiffs in the state case, it's this, we have the same group of people that are involved in this federal case. So we have us and the League of Women Voters, and then the individual Utah voters from across the political spectrum.
Adams says they plan to file a motion to dismiss the federal case later this week. Today marks the halfway point of Utah's 2026 legislative session, and Utahns have been watching closely as lawmakers debate everything from traffic rules to wages. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has some of the key moments so far. Eric?
Maria, at the halfway mark, lawmakers have filed an extraordinary number of bills, about 850 proposals so far. That's well above normal, and so far only about 40-plus bills have passed both chambers and been sent to the governor, and the governor has signed just about 10 of them into law. Notable bills like one that's moving is HB 128. It would drop Utah's requirement to use a turn signal in a roundabout. It's passed the House and cleared a Senate committee. Another is HB 275, a red light camera pilot. It's still early, but it would test cameras at intersections and track red light running. KSL's digital team says one of the most viral moments is the chemtrails bill, SB 23, but was stopped in committee. And HB 197 on sensitive materials in schools hasn't been heard in House education yet. Bottom line, the second half is where bills either take off or quietly die. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. The FBI has released a security camera image or images of the alleged suspect in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. ABC's Aaron Katursky is in Tucson with the latest.
The FBI says these images were previously inaccessible because the recording device had been taken, but working with the manufacturer, the FBI was able to recover these images.
The FBI has distributed the images of a man in a ski mask, hoping someone will call their tip line with information. Now, you can take a look at the images at KSL.com, and we'll talk more about this with a former FBI agent coming up at 12:45. Other national stories KSL is following. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is coming under fire for his appearance in the Epstein files that were released by the Justice Department. During a Senate Appropriations Subcommittee hearing, Senator Chris Van Hollen asked Lutnick about the nature of his relationship with Epstein, and Lutnick said that he went to Epstein's island with his family.
When you visited the private island,
Did you see anything inappropriate during that visit?
The only thing I saw with my wife and my children and the other couple and their children was staff who worked for Mr. Epstein on that island.
While there have been calls for Lutnick's resignation, House Speaker Mike Johnson says Lutnick has been a great Commerce Secretary and this hearing has been a political game. Competition is back underway at the Winter Olympics in Italy. ABC's Jim Ryan reports these games, like most in recent years, carry a hint of controversy beyond sports.
As his country's war with Russia rages, Ukrainian skeleton racer Vladislav Haraskovich designed a helmet featuring images of fellow Ukrainian athletes.
These people lost their lives, they were killed.
Killed in the war, but Olympic rules prohibit political or religious symbols on uniforms. Haraskovich instead will wear a black armband when he competes. His message is the same.
These people don't deserve to die so young.
Because of the conflict, Russia has been banned from sending an official team to the Milan Cortina Games. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
First look traffic, here's Michelle Rowe.
Again, we're looking at no crashes, really no delays across the Wasatch Front. Just a little bit of typical slowing on Pioneer Crossing between I-15 and Saratoga Springs. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Washington County Fair Legacy Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Starting price is too low to advertise. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. Deep, deep discounts. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
KSL News Time 12:36. A new audit finds that more than 2 million people's data could be compromised because the state's Department of Health and Human Services hasn't done enough to protect that data. We'll continue to follow that story for you. Working as a state employee might look more attractive to parents if a new bill passes allowing them to bring their babies to work. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
The bill would expand a pilot program already in place under the Utah Department of Health and Human Services to then extend infinite work programs to all executive branch state office employees. Bill sponsor Senator Stephanie Pritchard tells the Deseret News Utah is the youngest state in the nation and it's still growing, pointing out it's nearly impossible to survive on a single-parent income, and she wants to help accommodate young families. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
A Utah lawmaker wants to allow college students to opt out of class assignments if they feel it goes against their religious beliefs or other beliefs of their conscience. State Representative Mike Peterson says he wanted to sponsor this bill after hearing what his daughter said that she was required to do for her master's degree in another state.
And this one she called and said, Dad, I'm supposed to write a letter to a legislator advocating for LGBTQ policy. And she asked if I could help her. She was a little thrown off by that.
Some public commenters, including college professors, spoke against the bill because they think it could limit exposure to different viewpoints. The bill ended up clearing its first hurdle on Capitol Hill. Lawmakers want to change regulations for raw milk in Utah. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
In her milk amendments bill, Representative Kristen Chevrier says the responsibility of safety should fall on the people producing the raw milk rather than the Department of Agriculture as it has in the past.
It's expensive. It requires manpower. I think it was a bit of a burden for the Department of Agriculture, and I think that this relieves them of that burden and it places it, I think, where the responsibility should be, which is on the producer.
Despite raw milk coming into the spotlight recently after Utah influencer Ballerina Farm had to discontinue her raw milk products due to bacteria content, Chevrier says she's been working on this bill for a year. She wants people to be able to access raw milk if they want it and wants to support local farms. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Michelle Rowe.
We have a disabled vehicle in Roy. This is southbound I-15 and 5600 south. The entry ramp is blocked on the right shoulder. Also working on clearing a crash. This is 3200 south and Richmond Street, which is about 1200 east in the Salt Lake City area. Save hundreds to thousands on all new Bernina machines at Dave's Bernina in Provo and St. George. 48 months, no interest. Great deals on demo and used machines with warranties. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, calling for 48 as a daytime high, mostly cloudy skies today, and a slight chance for some isolated showers, especially towards the evening. 56, showers on your Wednesday, breezy. More showers possible on Thursday, 50 degrees. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's mostly cloudy and 48 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City, and still to come on midday. New images from Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera show that the suspect in her kidnapping was wearing a ski mask. We'll break down the latest developments with former FBI agent Greg Rogers. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yup, more energy and the peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something just as important, that your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts or commitments, so while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting, your Xfinity internet price won't budge. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform. And guess what? You'll still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get their best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed. Just $50 a month, plus get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 monthly value. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
When you crash your car, you get it fixed. When your computer crashes, you get a new one. But what will you do if you've been saving in a 401k or an IRA and the market crashes? If you're in your 30s or 40s, you'll be just fine. But if you're in or near retirement, you could be in trouble. Mike Stevens and his team at Capital Wealth Advisors are here to help. They can run a risk analysis to see if you're too heavily invested in the market. Don't let the ups and downs of Wall Street control you or your retirement dreams. Call 801-210-5500 today to schedule your risk analysis with Mike Stevens and the team at Capital Wealth Advisors. That's 801-210-5500. Crashes happen. Question is, are you ready? Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
You know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
Yeah, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, anything, you need to tell an adult, someone you know and trust. That can be hard, but speaking up about a problem is what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
KSL News Time, 1245. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a bill that would require mail-in votes to be returned by hand with a photo ID is going through the legislature now. A conservative policy institute has its reservations. I'm KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis.
Second, we are halfway through Utah's legislative session, and with about 850 bills proposed this session, lawmakers still have a lot to discuss in a short amount of time. Third, traffic and weather together, Michelle.
A disabled vehicle. This is southbound I-15 at the on-ramp, 5600 South in Roy. The right lane and right shoulder are blocked. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Keeping it cloudy today with highs in the upper 40s and maybe a PM shower possible. I'm Matt Johnson.
Cloudy and 43 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. The FBI's director has released a third video from Nancy Guthrie's surveillance cameras in addition to 4 black and white images. Kash Patel says it shows an individual armed, and also those images show the person is masked and wearing a backpack. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
As the videos and photos retrieved from Nancy Guthrie's front doorbell camera are going out around the world now, Savannah Guthrie has taken to Instagram, writing, quote, "We believe she is still alive. Bring her home," end quote. In the video, the intruder is wearing a full ski mask with only his eyes and his mouth showing. At one point, he holds a flashlight in his mouth while he tries to cover up the camera. He tries to put brush over the camera lens. He has gloves on, a backpack. There's what appears to be a gun in his front waistband as he manipulates the camera, eventually just hitting it with his fist.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt at today's briefing urging the public to offer any tips to locate the 84-year-old. This is ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth, and as you just heard on ABC, the FBI has released new images of the suspect in the kidnapping of Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, who went missing from her home in Tucson 11 days ago. Now, they show a man in a ski mask approaching her doorbell camera. Joining me now live to break it down is former FBI agent Greg Rogers. Greg, thanks for being with me.
You bet. Always a pleasure.
Okay, so what do you think we learned from these images today?
Well, a few concerning things, actually. The individual in the videos does a few things that are really amateurish that are concerning. One, a primary one being that where he's wearing his firearm and the way he's carrying that shows a real lack of any kind of tactical knowledge, or nobody wears a firearm there. That's sloppy. And the use of the greenery or whatever he grabbed to try to cover the camera, again, that shows a real lack of preparation. I mean, it's a piece of duct tape, spray paint, all sorts of things he could have had in that backpack would have been much more effective and would have shown a more preparation. So it's those videos are a little concerning because they show a real amateurish approach to that house.
So what concerns does that pose for law enforcement then?
Well, because of the way the ransom notes have been going, and I think law enforcement's going to be of the opinion that this guy's not as professional as everybody seemed to have thought, and that's sort of evidenced in the family's most recent videos. It's very interesting that one of the videos, of course, they're talking directly to the presumed kidnapper. And in the last video, they're talking to the public, which makes me think that they don't have any direct contact with this person, which is highly unusual. In all high-profile kidnappings that I've ever been associated with, the kidnapper's talking to the family. And they know, of course, that law enforcement's listening to that, but all the negotiations and everything are going on directly with the family. That's not happening here, and that's similarly very concerning.
Greg, are these images released today actually very helpful in identifying this person? I mean, he's wearing a ski mask, so you barely see his eyes. He's got these big gloves, almost look like boxing gloves on.
Right.
And the backpack. I mean, are any of those really identifiable elements?
Well, you'd be surprised, not by the public at large. I mean, nobody in the public that doesn't have any idea who this is going to be able to identify anybody from that photo. But with the $50,000 reward out there, you'd be amazed how many cases we've put out, bank robbery photos, other types of photos where someone who knows the guy, sees the jacket, sees a backpack, he may have said something to a friend or associate, and they just decide it's worth $50,000 to make a call, and that's one of the reasons these photos are sent out. We're in a desperate situation, and a little luck never hurts.
All right, Greg, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being with me.
You betcha. You take care.
You too. Live on the KSL Newsline, that is former FBI agent Greg Rogers. Let's get you up to date now on the drive. Traffic and weather is brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Michelle?
Again, very quiet out there. Looks like the disabled vehicle has been removed. This is southbound I-15 on-ramp at 5600 South in Roy. And we're seeing a little bit of building traffic, though. This is on Bangerter Highway, right around the 201 freeway. Are you tired of dealing with missing teeth? Are you ready to ditch the dentures? The experts at Stubbs Dental can change your life with dental implants. Get started at stubbsdental.com today. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts out with a deck of clouds today. We'll go mostly cloudy. 30% chance for a shower, mainly in the evening. 48 the high. 56 tomorrow. Valley rain showers and mountain snow showers. Breezy. 56 showers likely again on Thursday. Friday partly cloudy. 47. Dry again on Saturday. 51. Clouds increase with some wind on Sunday. 56. Then it's mostly cloudy. 30% chance for a shower Monday. Breezy out of the south. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Cloudy and 43 degrees in Salt Lake City. And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Well, now that the holidays are over, major holidays are over, the Super Bowl's over, those things that really kind of entice you to eat more than you should and eat things that you probably shouldn't. Now that they're over, maybe you're thinking, hey, it's time for a resolution reset. I'd like to take off those pounds, and now is a good time to start. Right now, Salt Lake City Fat Loss is offering you a little bit of extra incentive, $200 off to help you get back on track through the end of February. You've heard me brag about this program a lot. It's helped me lose more than 40 pounds. It's doctor developed. It's all natural. Many of their clients lose up to a pound of fat per day, and there are no injections, no drugs, no workouts, and no prepackaged meals. And you know what? The prepackaged meals thing, that's a really big deal because this means that this program is less expensive than other programs because you don't have to buy all that extra stuff. So stop restarting and start getting your results and take advantage of this great deal. The Resolution Reset with $200 off. It ends on February 28th. You can schedule your free consultation at slcfatloss.com. You can also find out more there. That is slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. Keep in mind, it's not just you.
I owed roughly $34,000.
$61,000. When the IRS first contacted me, I was horrified.
When they start hounding you and harassing you and assaulting you.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
From what I got told was being done in a matter of 2 years, he had done in a matter of like 48 hours.
It's a great thing to have the IRS off your back.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
Once I signed on with Jordan, I never talked to the IRS again.
It changed our lives.
You need someone to fight for you. Visit endtaxworry.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit endtaxworry.com. That's endtaxworry.com.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
KSL News Time 12:54. Lyft is offering an option for teens to request rides on their app. The service starts today, and the company says it will offer safe rides to teens.
Lyft says it will now offer rides for teens ages 13 through 17 in 200 cities across the country. Here's how this works. Only parents and legal guardians with verified accounts can add their child to their Lyft profile. Parents or teens can book the ride. Your child is going to have to show a PIN number on their app that matches the driver's PIN before the ride starts, and parents will get a text with a link to track that trip.
That is ABC's Elizabeth Schulze reporting. Watching Utah's money, the growth of home prices is slowing way down, hitting less than 1% in December. New research from Cotality says Utah is among the top 10 states where prices are actually dropping rather than growing, though only slightly. Analysts say it represents the correction of an inflated market. New research from Gallup suggests Americans are feeling more optimistic that the stock market will improve in the next half year, but about half of us expect unemployment to go up. Gallup interviewed adults living in all 50 states to reach those findings. The Bling Winter Games medal winners bring home that could be worth more this year than in years past. That's because of soaring gold and silver prices. Based on the current going rates, if you melted down a gold medal, it would be worth about $2,500. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by almost 100 points, nearly 0.25%, sitting at 50,235. S&P down by 8 points. The Nasdaq down that 0.25%, down 68 points. Country favorite Noah Kahan is bringing his stadium tour back to Utah.
Noah Kahan will play America First Field in Sandy this summer, and America First Field's concert and event manager Jake Jensen says it's a venue that gives fans a different kind of concert experience.
There's something special about seeing a show, in Sandy, Utah, with the mountains as the backdrop.
Jensen says it's also a big win for the local economy because shows like this rely on Utah-based crews, vendors, and family-owned production companies. Noah Kahan plays August 25th. Pre-sale tickets start today and official on sale to the general public on Thursday. From Sandy, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Plus, free premium delivery with any bed and base. Ends Monday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. And here's Michelle Rowe.
The disabled dump truck at 106 South off-ramp for drivers headed southbound. That's still there off to the right, not causing any delays. I-15, other than that, running smoothly. Attention Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. Don't wait for bad weather to schedule professional snow service with GoPave Utah. Your complete parking lot safety starts with GoPaveUtah.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, probably the coolest of the week with a high of 48 degrees and a 20% chance of evening showers. Tomorrow, up to 56 degrees, but the chance of rain goes up to 70% and then 50% on Thursday. 43 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Sensitive data for more than 2 million Utahns may have been put in danger. That's according to a new audit by the Department of Health and Human Services.
Too many people have access to that data. That's what a new report from the Office of the Utah State Auditor says. It also says there's not a great way to monitor who has it or who does what with it.
The time is 1 o'clock on Tuesday, February 10th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, whose data is most at risk? The state auditor will join me for a breakdown of the findings and what her office says needs to be done to better secure patient information. Also this hour, a major breakthrough in the case to find Nancy Guthrie. Images of a suspect caught on security cameras just released.
And if you look at these images that appear in black and white, you see an individual who appears to be wearing a backpack and a mask and gloves.
But first, our top stories. The jury selection process is now underway for the trial of Corey Richens, the Camas mother accused of killing her husband, then writing a children's book about coping with grief. KSL News Radio's Adam Small was in the courtroom where the public initially wasn't expected to be allowed in.
That's what the judge initially wanted, but then another media outlet's attorney filed a motion asking him to reconsider, and the judge granted a compromise allowing us to sit in unless a potential juror asked us not to. The defense, prosecution, and the judge then started asking each potential juror things like if they'd heard of the case before, whether it be on the news, social media, or from someone else, if they knew anyone associated with the case, or other questions related to their life to see if they could be considered biased one way or the other. Richens was with her defense team listening intently to all of it, even nodding in approval to one of the candidates' answers at one point.
Richens facing multiple charges, including aggravated murder. She could face life in prison if she's convicted. Her trial starts in 13 days. Our top national story from ABC News. The FBI has released photos and videos from Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera retrieved by Google.
We know this is the first major breakthrough. It's also the first piece of concrete evidence that we have to go off of. For the past 9 days or so, the driving force that we've seen in terms of how investigators have been speaking publicly and how the family has been speaking publicly has been in response to unverified ransom notes, a pair of them which were sent out to media organizations. Those have never been confirmed to be real. It's possible that they are, but it's also possible that they are not.
ABC's Trevor Alt reporting. Other national stories KSL is following. The Secretary of Commerce is facing calls to resign in the wake of revelations from the Epstein files that contradict his recent statements about the man he once lived next door to in New York. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has more.
Last fall, the Commerce Secretary told an interviewer that he vowed in 2005 to never again be in the same room with his then next-door neighbor. But the Epstein files show Howard Lutnick continued to socialize with the then-convicted sex offender. At a Senate hearing, Lutnick acknowledged he had lunch on Epstein's Island in 2012.
My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies.
Lutnick insists.
I barely had anything to do with that person.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 145 points, more than 0.25%, sitting at 50,279. S&P is down by 5, and the NASDAQ gets down by 60 points. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Looking at a little slowdown, Maria, northbound I-15. This is as you're approaching 106 South. I did see a disabled semi-tractor trailer, so that might be what we're looking at. Just something to watch for in the area. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
And the forecast calls for a high today of 48, 56 tomorrow, and our best chance of showers coming Wednesday and Thursday, 70% chance on Wednesday. 43 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to A to Z Savings, our biggest sale of the year.
Happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with Duralast rotors.
Free. Really?
Really? Free.
I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah. How much is that?
Free with the oil.
Free. Really?
Really. Free. It's part of A to Z Savings with hundreds of deals.
From A to free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Ends March 9th. Restrictions apply.
Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Wednesday on KSL, pest control, parking, even trash valet fees. Ask just about any Utah renter and they'll tell you.
They want to charge you separate for every little thing.
Additional monthly costs are popping up all over the place, inflating rent hundreds over the advertised price. KSL explores a new measure that would keep the real cost from getting buried in the fine print. Hidden housing fees, a Cost of Utah report, Wednesday at 10.
Since 1947, Whipple Service Champions has been Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services. Got a high-priced repair bill from another company and you're just not sure about it? Call Whipple. Get a free, no-pressure estimate or bring us their quote for an honest second opinion. Totally free. Whipple Service Champions, Utah's first place for second opinions since 1947. Call 385-273-7167 for your free estimate today. 385-273-7167.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. More than 2 million Utahns, including children and psychiatric patients, may have had sensitive personal data exposed. That's one finding of a new state audit just released, which found several critical weaknesses in the Utah Department of Health and Human Services. The privacy audit came from a whistleblower complaint, and joining me now on Midday is State Auditor Tina Cannon. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks for the opportunity, Maria.
Auditor, all the data could have been exposed, but do we know if any of it was actually exposed?
So that is the point of a privacy audit. This is the first audit that we did after our transition from privacy trainers to privacy auditors in May. This is a whistleblower complaint that is talking about how easy it would have been for that information to be exposed. And we were, as part of our training of those agencies, helping them develop a posture to protect this data. And the seriousness of the report is this, that we have held this report for 7 months, not because we wanted to generate a lot of buzz around what had happened, but the goal is to protect people's data. And our concern is that these risks have just not been treated with the seriousness that they deserve. The sensitivity and the sheer volume of the data are just not matched by the controls the agency is putting in to protect these children.
Okay, so we're not just talking about Social Security numbers here. We're actually talking about personal information from their doctors, basically.
Well, basically, it's any time that people are in a sensitive situation. So you have children who are at risk through abuse or neglect. You have children through the foster care system. These are families, even women and children who are in abuse situations. These are families and children in their most vulnerable moments of time, and the access to that information is just too broad. You can imagine in those most sensitive moments, you want the most protection possible over what happened and how it happened.
Okay, so you said you held this information to hopefully to get the protections in place, but are they in place now?
So we were very disappointed in the length of time that the agency gave us that it would take. These controls could have been in place very, very quickly, and that is why we're still talking about these risks have just not been treated with the seriousness that they deserve. This type of information should be on a need-to-know basis only. These restrictions should be in place just generally over these situations so that not every social worker should have access to every case that's out there. That access is way too broad.
So, excuse me, what are you recommending then to fix the problem?
We did several recommendations through them. We gave them a very, very long list of recommendations for them to choose from and how to implement that. We also worked with the Department of Technology Services, who provides these services for the entity, and made sure that the entity had access and ability to put these controls in place quickly. There are other areas within Health and Human Services that have these types of controls. We know that they're able to put these controls in place. We're just not seeing the urgency of this portion of the agency to put these controls in place.
So how has the agency responded to the audit?
So in most of the situations, they've agreed with it. But this major one, they have said they agree partially and that they will review best practices. And that's why we're talking about this. Mm-hmm. Our concern is also for all of the other agencies that are out there. This is the first privacy audit that was given to us to do as privacy auditors, and these are the kind of practices that we're seeing. We want this warning call to go out to all government entities across the state who handle private personal data for taxpayers and citizens of Utah to make sure that the proper accesses are in place. When the access is subject to the vulnerabilities in today's ever-evolving world of cybersecurity, you have to make sure that you are implementing these best practices so that data is as secure as absolutely possible.
Thank you so much for joining me. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
State Auditor Tina Cannon joining me. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
A big development in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. The FBI releasing images of a masked person recovered from Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera. ABC's Alex Stone has more on the developing news.
Even though Nancy Guthrie was not paying for her Nest subscription to save video, the FBI and Nest were apparently able to retrieve video from her front doorbell camera. That camera was removed by the suspect, but now in these new images, they are very clear, showing a suspect in what looks like a zip-up sweatshirt with a backpack on, gloves. He's got a mask over his face, completely covering his face, all but his eyes and his mouth, holding a flashlight in his mouth.
Just a short time ago, right after we learned about the news, I spoke with former FBI agent Greg Rogers to get his takes on this newest development. And I asked him what he thinks that we learned from those images being released.
Well, a few concerning things, actually. The individual in the videos is does a few things that are really amateurish that are concerning. One, a primary one being that where he's wearing his firearm and the way he's carrying that shows a real lack of any kind of tactical knowledge, or nobody wears a firearm there. That's sloppy. And the use of the greenery or whatever he grabbed to try to cover the camera, again, that shows a real lack of preparation. I mean, it's a piece of duct tape, spray paint, all sorts of things he could have had in that backpack would have been much more effective and would have shown a more preparation. So it's those videos are a little concerning because they show a real amateurish approach to that house.
So what concerns does that pose for law enforcement then?
Well, because of the way the ransom notes have been going, and I think everybody, law enforcement's going to be of the opinion that this guy's not as professional as everybody seemed to have thought. And that's sort of evidenced in the family's most recent videos. It's very interesting that one of the videos, of course, they're talking directly to the presumed kidnapper, and in the last video, they're talking to the public, which makes me think that they don't have any direct contact with this person, which is highly unusual. In all high-profile kidnappings that I've ever been associated with, the kidnapper's talking to the family. And they know, of course, that law enforcement's listening to that, but all the negotiations and everything are going on directly with the family. That's not happening here, and that's similarly very concerning.
Greg, are these images released today actually very helpful in identifying this person? I mean, he's wearing a ski mask, so you barely see his eyes. He's got these big gloves, almost look like boxing gloves on.
Right.
And the backpack. I mean, are any of those really identifiable elements?
Well, you'd be surprised. Not by the public at large. I mean, nobody in the public that doesn't have any idea who this is going to be able to identify anybody from that photo. But with the $50,000 reward out there, you'd be amazed how many cases we've put out, bank robbery photos, other types of photos where someone who knows the guy, sees the jacket, sees a backpack, he may have said something to a friend or associate, and they just decide it's worth $50,000 to make a call. And that's one of the reasons these photos are sent out. We're in a desperate situation, and a little luck never hurts.
Former FBI agent Greg Rogers there. We'll continue to track this story, bring you updates on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. After the break, should working parents be able to take their infants to work? We'll chat about a new proposal on Utah's Capitol Hill. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
We have a new crash in Salt Lake. This is 300 West, 600 North. Other than that, looking pretty good out there right now. Don't miss the Rocky Mountain Gun Show February 14th and 15th at the Golden Spike Event Center in Ogden. Get 500 rounds of 9mm ammo for just $89. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Washington County Fair Legacy Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Starting price is too low to advertise. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. Deep discounts. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through March 22nd, switch to Comcast Business and get started with 150 megabit internet plus Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Or ask how to lock in your rate for 5 years on a qualifying internet bundle and get a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. For a limited time only. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. Drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section and after Dad's back injury. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Trouble with opioids can start at home with unused medicines such as pills, patches, and syrups. You can remove the risk and protect your family. Find out how at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos.
Eye on the Hill 2026. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
More new moms would be able to bring their babies to work under legislation being discussed on Utah's Capitol Hill. The bill would expand Utah's Infant at Work program that's already in place in one state department. Representative Ashley Matthews is a new mom, so I reached out to her for her perspective on the program.
Well, I know that the department that has already implemented this program, this pilot program, has seen great results for parents and for the babies. I know it's easier for me, when I know where my baby is and I have eyes on them. I know what they're doing. Your focus isn't split between what you're supposed to be doing and wondering if your baby's okay and what they're up to. So that, to me, I think would be one of the biggest selling points for me.
Yeah. So how would that work in an office setting? You said that there is one department that's already tried this and it's going well, but I'm trying to imagine, like for us in a newsroom, it's kind of hard for us to imagine a baby in our newsroom. So how would that work, and how would that kind of change the atmosphere of the office, the work environment? There's a big difference between, babes in arms and a full-on, toddler who's crawling around and getting into things and throwing tantrums. But, if it's a 4-month-old baby that's just sleeping on your shoulder while you're answering emails or sitting in a meeting, I think that's important to make that, the distinction, because the program, from what I have read into it, it's only babies up to 6 months. So after 6 months, they're a little bit more mobile and vocal and, and they have a lot of opinions and they're willing to share those. But each parent knows their baby and their baby's
schedule well enough to know whether this is an appropriate program for them. I know, last session I had my youngest baby with me, and he was a good baby. He slept, and he wasn't really a distraction or a bother to anyone. But I know if it would have been one of my other sons, it would not have been feasible at all. He was very, very colicky, very fussy, and it just wouldn't have been anything that we would have been able to take advantage of with him. So I think just letting parents have the option of the flexibility, but also, using their discretion as to whether or not it would be appropriate, I think is good. But as far as how it would work in the office, I mean, I can only imagine that it would boost morale. If anything else, having babies around, who doesn't love babies? So
exactly. When someone brings a baby here, we pretty much all glom around the baby. Everybody wants to see and talk to the baby. What kind of message do you think this sends to moms? I mean, for a state to be welcoming to their babies.
Well, I think given the population of Utah, we have a lot of babies, and we're a young state, young families. In my personal opinion, I know that we have 6 weeks of parental leave, but I mean that's just really not long enough. And so, kind of helping after a mom has to come back to work, or a dad, if coming back to work, just being able to have the baby with you and just kind of slowly taper off, kind of, I think would help make that transition a little less harsh. I think just instead of a straight cutoff and going cold turkey, being able to kind of get back into the swing of things and get back into work before you're without them all day. So,
right. Anything else that you'd like folks to know?
I think it's important that we look at the fact that it's already been implemented and it's already seeing success. And so I don't think there's one correct way for us to support families and to support babies and to support kids. And so I think this is just another tool that employers can use to help boost, employee retention and boost employee morale. Yeah, just having that option and that flexibility is helpful. And if we're going to be a family-friendly state, and I think it's important that we lead by example, and hopefully that public sector will follow the lead and start to implement programs like this in their private businesses.
And that is Utah Representative Ashley Matthews. Also on Capitol Hill today, the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition's Advocacy Day. And joining me now live to chat about that is Erin Jemison with the coalition. Erin, thanks for being with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So, Erin, explain to our listeners what Advocacy Day on the Hill is all about.
Sure. It is something we do every single year where we bring domestic violence survivors, as well as the folks who run our shelters across the state and other services for survivors, up to the Hill. We have them meet their legislators, the legislators who serve the districts that they also serve with their shelters, therapy, et cetera. And they just get a chance to put a face with a name and tell them what the impact is in their communities and how the legislature can support them.
Yeah, you say you do this every year. So describe what a difference it makes for the lawmakers to actually hear their stories when they are coming up with legislation.
Yes, the difference is huge. I always say that our legislators talk a lot about data, but what I see make the biggest impact are those stories. And being able to hear directly from the people who live in their communities about not only how they help people, but what do they help them with? What is that impact? It is not just someone fleeing in the middle of the night with only their clothes on their back. That, of course, happens. But it's also about the legal system that's very hard for survivors. It's about long-term help. It's about therapy wait lists, and just really helping legislators understand this is the impact of the people I know and who I'm here to serve, and this is how it impacts their life and why it's important that I help make that better.
What bills are you keeping an eye on this legislative session?
Oh, my goodness. There's so many bills, most we've ever had. We're tracking 130 bills this session. But the one that we're working the most on is House Bill 303. We expect that to be up in committee soon. And that is around improving the family court system. That's work that we started a couple of years ago. This is a next step in trying to make it so families have a better experience, and children who are in danger while custody decisions are being made, that they're kept safer, that we're making the right decisions for both parents and their children and trying to prevent the most tragic circumstances.
Right. So that's a lot of bills. Give us the highlights of a couple of the others that are important to you.
Sure. So we also work in the housing realm. So one of the biggest barriers to someone leaving an abusive situation is they can't find affordable housing, and they can't stay in rental housing because sometimes the abuser is the reason that they've been evicted. So, for example, there's a Senate Bill 215 to try and get eviction records expunged more quickly. That sounds really kind of simple and boring, but for a lot of survivors, that's the difference between being able to stay away from their abuser and not be on the street. We also are looking at funding. We really need continued funding so that law enforcement officers can get evidence they need after a domestic violence strangulation. And then also some just shelter-based services are looking for extended funding. If we don't get an appropriations for that this year, they're going to be looking at cuts to their services. So those are our main priorities.
Yeah, Erin, how many women need shelter?
That is a great question. I believe that the state agency that was speaking a few minutes ago said there was over 90,000 nights of shelter provided. So that's not 90,000 people. That's right. Counting the individual nights. But you know, when 1 in 3 people in our state have experienced domestic violence, the needs are really the needs are really frequent, and I think that issue is more common in people's lives than we often realize.
Erin, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
That is Erin Jemison with the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. President Dallin H. Oaks of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints addressing thousands of BYU students in his first devotional as president of the church. Finances and relationships, where is the balance? We'll get details ahead of Valentine's Day. KSL News Time is 1:30.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. For the first time since Nancy Guthrie was taken from her Tucson home, the FBI releasing images and video from the 84-year-old's doorbell camera, showing a masked and armed man, the FBI says, wearing a backpack, walking up to the front door overnight on February 1st, when the mother of Today anchor Savannah Guthrie was reported missing. ABC News contributor Brad Garrett and former FBI agent on what the images show him.
Somebody who is not exactly sure what they're doing. They haven't figured out maybe how to get in the house. They haven't figured out how to maybe block or damage the video, which obviously runs for a period of time, goes and looks like some vegetation. I don't know if he's going to try to cover up the camera or use it to damage the lens.
The White House says President Trump has also reviewed the images and video, urging the public to help provide any tips. Savannah Guthrie, in a new post, says, "We believe she's still alive. Bring her home." This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Sensitive data for over 2 million Utahns has been put in danger, according to a new audit of the Department of Health and Human Services.
Too many people have access to that data. That's what a new report from the Office of the Utah State Auditor says. It also says there's not a great way to monitor who has it or who does what with it. The same audit found a lack of monitoring and quality control with the Division of Child and Family Services Public Records Request Team, with several instances of sensitive documents being released to the wrong person. Staff also expressed confusion when it came to incident response and training programs, saying the policies are poorly defined and they don't really know what to do. The auditor's office is now recommending the department review access privileges, staffing, and the roles and responsibilities of each employee. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. President Dallin H. Oaks of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints spoke to students at BYU today about holding fast to their commitment to the Lord and to the church. He said those of diminishing faith and activity in the church are a major concern for him.
God is relentless in his loving pursuit of each of you. Keep the commandments and be true to the covenant so many of you have made to guide you along the covenant path. Never let your secular learning limit your horizons.
President Oaks also talked about humility and how when we are humble, we are better able to hear the voice of the Lord and follow his teachings. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 108 points, nearly 0.25%, sitting at 50,241. S&P 500 down by 10 points, and the Nasdaq, it's down by 85 points. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Again, Maria, still pretty quiet out there. They are working on a crash, though. Officers are at the scene of 300 West, 600 North, and they're working on trying to get that crash cleared. I-15 still running at posted speeds. Get BOGO tickets now for the ultimate romantic date night. Choose Chicago Nights or Romeo and Juliet, April 6th through the 11th. Visit odysseydance.com for tickets, discounts, and details. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's not going to get much warmer today. The high 48, the high tomorrow 56 degrees, but a 70% chance of showers tomorrow and a 50% chance on Thursday. 45 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Trying to make sense of the markets? Looking to diversify out of all the craziness? Thinking about tangible assets like precious metals? Listen to The Gold Show with Kenny Michaels right here on KSL at 3 p.m. Sunday afternoons. Stay up to date on retirement trends, how the IRA rollover process works, and why investors are turning to physical gold. Kenny is a national talk show host with decades of experience in the markets. Tune in for Kenny's Insights and The Gold Show this Sunday afternoon at 3.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Ugh.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. President Dallin H. Oaks of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints speaking to a crowd of students at Brigham Young University today in his first devotional since becoming president of the church. Before the devotional, KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff spoke with students outside the Marriott Center to find out how they felt about having President Oaks speak on campus.
To me, his most recent talk, and he focused on families and how really the family is the strongest unit, and most of the problems in our world and society today can be fixed by a strong family that follows Jesus Christ and the principles of the gospel. So I'm really grateful that he's focusing on families and helping us realize how we can be a better family member.
I'm a political science major and I study the Constitution, and so the divinely inspired Constitution was a really cool one to hear in the general conference talk. That was quite a few years ago, but just hearing of the inspiration that went into the making the Constitution and protecting the moral agency of God's children, making it possible for us to have a more fullness of moral agency to exercise as we try to be more Christ-like.
In his address today, President Oaks spoke to young adults about holding fast to their commitment to the Lord and to the church.
God is relentless in his loving pursuit of each of you. Keep the commandments and be true to the covenant so many of you have made to guide you along the covenant path. Never let your secular learning limit your horizons.
President Oaks saying those of diminishing faith and activity in the church are a major concern for him. He also spoke about humility and how when we are humble, we are better able to hear the voice of the Lord and follow his teachings.
I share 4 impressions that will draw us closer to our Savior. First, strengthen our faith in him. Second, increase our humility. Third, seek help from others. And fourth, be patient.
Let's go more in depth on President Oaks' remarks with Church News editor Ryan Jensen. Ryan, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. What stood out to you most about the president's comments?
Maria, it's good to be with you. I thought this was a wonderful landmark address from President Oaks. Sitting here at the Marriott Center, we watched 20,000 students fill the Marriott Center, with thousands more perhaps lining the streets to the east of the Marriott Center in an attempt to get in. There was a significant appetite by students to hear what the new prophet and president of the church would say. And those 4 points that you just heard, I think it's important to note that they came after he said the reason that these matter is because the adversary has had the duration of the creation of this world to refine his ability to get people off the covenant path. That's why those 4 points matter, because those are the 4 things that will help them be strong enough to avoid the distractions of Satan.
So to strengthen their faith, what were some things that he mentioned? Go more in depth on that, on how he wants these young people to strengthen their faith.
Yeah, as he talked about faith, he noted for those students that faith is more than a desire. It means that every day that you're putting forth that effort and continuing in what we refer to in the church many times as primary answers, that you need to be engaged in daily prayer and scripture study. He went back to something that many members of the church learned when they were in the church's primary program, which is the Articles of Faith. The 13 Articles of Faith were something that primary children used to memorize. The first one of those says, we believe in God, the eternal Father, and his Son, Jesus Christ, and in the Holy Ghost. And he said that is the anchor, that anchoring in understanding that we have faith in those 3 is going to help us become better examples of service to our fellow men.
One of the points that he talked about, one of his 4 points that stood out for me, was patience, because I don't have a lot of it. How was he telling these young people that they should strengthen their patience or build their patience?
Yeah, as he talked about humility, his second and third points, Maria, I think both hearken to this point of patience, because the first is humility. And in telling students that they need to be humble so that they can understand that God is God, that he is all-powerful and all-knowing, it is not something just to say so that people can be fearful, but it is something to recognize that because he is all-knowing and all-powerful, that he also can help you know and find answers. But he doesn't just answer like Google. He's going to help you go through processes to learn the things you need to do. And that requires patience. That requires humility. The other point of that was that he encouraged these students to seek the help of others. It's one thing to say, well, I'm willing to learn if somebody will teach me. But it's another thing to go and seek out answers from those who may have them, to seek answers from those who have expertise or experience. And in this case, we're talking about spiritual matters. So listening to those and seeking out those who have already had spiritual faith-building experiences in their lives, those are going to carry over. It's a testimony and an example of faith that can transfer from one generation to another as individuals seek out the love and experience of others.
Ryan, thanks so much for going more in depth for us.
Thanks, Maria.
Ryan Jensen is the editor of the Church News. Midday continues in just a moment.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. I was asked to coach a senior leader who was described by his colleagues as being aloof and difficult. As I observed, I noted that he rarely listened. Without fully understanding, he would then offer thick, layered advice. This is what I did. I put a timer on his desk and said, for the first 10 minutes of any meeting, you cannot do anything but ask questions. But they cannot be questions disguised as advice. They must be non-prescriptive questions like, say more about that. How do you feel about that? What did you think about that? The turnaround was amazing. I can't believe what I've been missing, he told me. My colleagues are much smarter than I understood. My job is to give them confidence, not answers. Learn more about non-prescriptive questions with an MBA from Utah State. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
What's better than a credit card with low interest? How about one with no interest? For a limited time, when you open a new America First Visa credit card, you'll enjoy 0% APR for the first 6 months. Transfer your balances from higher rate cards to your new America First card to consolidate debt and potentially save yourself a lot of money. That's 0 interest for 6 months. Interested? Then hurry to americafirst.com to apply today. Introductory variable annual percentage rate is subject to membership, eligibility, terms, creditworthiness, change, and conditions. Other limits and requirements may apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
If you've been disappointed by underachieving savings, a high-yield certificate from America First can be a fantastic way to help your money start doing more. Whether you're planning for an upcoming expense or just want to save smarter and earn bigger, America First's flexible certificates are an outstanding way to grow your cash. So don't wait to get your money working. Head to americafirst.com and open a high-yield certificate today. Membership eligibility, terms, conditions, and change apply. Fees could reduce account earnings. Federally insured by NCUA.
With Valentine's Day coming up quickly, it's time to have a difficult conversation. It's not you, and it's certainly not me. It's the money. New research from our friends at Bankrate finds that couples are becoming increasingly more cautious when it comes to money. And joining me for the conversation is Ted Rossman, Principal Analyst at Bankrate. Ted, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so first, I understand you have some new data on how many couples actually keep their finances separate.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's roughly a third, and a third in terms of people who combine everything, people who keep everything totally separate, and then there's also a group in the middle who does some of both, where they have some joint accounts and some separate accounts. It's interesting to see how it breaks out on generational lines. Gen Zers are the most likely to keep their money completely separate. Boomers are the most likely to completely combine it. And then a lot of Gen Xers and millennials are doing that hybrid thing.
So any clue which works best, or is it just an individual kind of thing?
It's an individual thing, but I would urge people to consider the hybrid approach, the yours, mine, and ours idea. There are some things to like about that. For example, it does make sense to have some combined money because you do have a lot of combined obligations and goals. But it's also nice to have some money that you can call yours and yours alone. Because what we don't want is to slide into financial infidelity, secret spending, secret debt, things like that. A lot of times people want some independence. But if you and your spouse agree that you each have a certain dollar amount that's yours and yours alone, maybe a certain amount every month or a certain amount out of every paycheck, or maybe it's that you don't need to talk about things under $50 or whatever you decide, as long as you agree on it ahead of time, it's actually nice to have a little independence and not have the other person always looking over your shoulder.
Okay. It sounds like the conversation, though, is the important part. You need to be talking about it. So, I mean, how early in a relationship should somebody start talking about finances?
The conversation is the big part. Yeah, most people think that should start a few months after dating. It's not a first date conversation. But interestingly, Gen Zers are accelerating this a little bit compared with previous generations. They're more likely to talk about money early in a relationship. Not that you need to share everything, but maybe general parameters about salary, credit score, debt, things like that. It actually does make sense to set some expectations as far as lifestyle and vacations, and student debt is such a big deal for a lot of 20 and 30-somethings. It's actually causing people to cut back on traditional milestones like home buying and marriage and having kids and all that. So money is very intertwined with our lives. you need to tread somewhat cautiously. It's not always the most fun thing to talk about, and I don't think it's a first or second date kind of thing, but relatively early in the relationship, maybe a few months in, certainly well before marriage or moving in together, it makes sense to have some of these money conversations.
Okay, so how do they go about the conversation? I mean, you don't want to just say, how much money do you make? Or maybe you do.
It depends where you are in the relationship. I mean, for more established couples, we should get in the routine of having these monthly money dates where you talk about bills that are coming in, what you need to pay, what your salary is, how you're going to plan for longer term goals. That's actually some of the fun part, is if you can get on the same page about like, yeah, we really want to work towards that great vacation or that home purchase. Now, for couples that are more in the earlier stages of dating, maybe you do tread a little carefully. Maybe you talk more about money goals and values and wishes and sort of where you've been and where you want to go. Maybe you could even share potentially a challenge you're having or a question or, something that your friends or family are experiencing. You can sort of go light as far as bringing it up. I don't think you need to go the direct route and just flat out ask what their salary or credit score is. But I do think there are some sort of delicate ways to have the conversation. And I do see Gen Zers having these conversations earlier. They are the social media share everything generation after all. But they're also breaking down some stereotypes when it comes to things like trying to push back against the gender pay gap and being more communicative about salaries and student debt, which is a very shared obligation for a lot of that generation. So I actually like to see some of the walls are coming down, because that's the way that we bring these issues into the light and hopefully make them better.
Well, good to have some good news. Ted, thanks so much for being with me.
No problem. Thank you.
Ted Rossman, the principal analyst at Bankrate. Utah's Olympic delegation in Italy this week to observe the Winter Games. We'll hear from a few of them as they look ahead to 2034 coming up next. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. Michelle?
SLPD still working on a crash. This is 300 west, 600 north, and I-15 still running at posted speeds. Step aboard history, walk through recreation, see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of Titanic. The exhibition now open at the shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at thetitanicexhibition.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
Welcome to guided meditation. Close your eyes. You're at the beach. The seagulls are calling. You take out your iPhone 16e you got from Cricket and use Apple Intelligence to clean up that selfie you just took. It's a good one. You send it to your friends instantly thanks to reliable nationwide 5G. They're totally jealous. Get iPhone 16e for $49.99 when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new line on the Supreme Unlimited plan. First service charge and tax due at sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Washington County Fair Legacy Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Starting price is too low to advertise. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. Deep discounts. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpa.com.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Several Utah leaders are in Italy today getting tours of the area around Milan as they work to prepare for the 2034 Winter Games to be held here. This morning, they held a news conference answering questions from worldwide media. Governor Spencer Cox saying the games are a great way to bring people together, so he's grateful for the current Winter Games and the opportunity to bring the games back to Utah in 2034.
We love the Olympics and Paralympics for many reasons, but most of all is the way that it brings people together at a very divided time in our nation and in our world. This is an opportunity for us to come together, an opportunity for us to see the very best of humanity, to celebrate our different cultures and humanity together. And we're grateful for everything that we're seeing here that does that, and our commitment to the Olympic and Paralympic movement. Everybody who participates there will be that you will see that in Utah when you come and visit. Again, I'll just echo Sarah. We hope you come before 2034. We would love to host you and show you the very best that Utah has to offer.
Another thing we learned from their remarks deals with the tickets for 2034. As you can expect, tickets to see the events themselves can generally be quite expensive. But Winter Games President Fraser Bullock says they'll make sure that a wide majority of Utahns are able to buy tickets when the games come here in 8 years.
Tickets are one of the 3 major sources of revenue. And in our business model is that we don't take any state or local taxpayer money, so we've got to make it on sponsorship dollars from the IOC contribution and from ticketing. And so we want to be very careful about ticketing, and what we call it is a barbell ticket strategy, where we have some very, very expensive tickets that include hospitality for people that want to have the ultimate experience, and they're going to pay for the games. And that allows us to have very, very inexpensive tickets. In fact, we've committed to having 34,000 tickets for $34. And so the kids, and we'll have a school program where kids can attend. We've got another program we're working on with those that are disadvantaged so that they can also participate and experience the games. So we have a broad spectrum that we can be inclusive while at the same time generating the revenue we need to have break-even or better games.
Salt Lake Mayor Aaron Mendenhall was also at the news conference. Social media is full of beauty trends, advice, and videos that are fun to watch.
What I love about DIY beauty is that you create it with ingredients that you can find like out in nature. So for today's video, we are going to head out into the forest to forage for ingredients to make our own skincare products. Let's go.
All right, and while you may enjoy watching your favorite influencer, you may want to think twice about taking all of their advice. The good news, dermatology nurse practitioner Alex Bothorpe says, is that she's noticed people taking more care of their skin. But the bad news is not all the advice is good, and some is even harmful.
They're using black salve to try to treat their skin conditions. Black salve is a thing that you use on your cows to try to get rid of skin conditions, but on the skin, if you use it on skin cancers, it doesn't know the difference between good skin and bad skin, and so it will eat away your skin. So definitely don't be using any black salve. Another common thing would be hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide, it can eat the good skin and the bad skin away too. So if you're doing like you're cleaning a wound, you'd want to do mild soap and water and skip the peroxide.
Both Thorpe tells KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson influencers have definitely brought more awareness to self-care.
There's been a big increase in hot topics that are on social media that has brought people in. I think they're getting more aware of their own health and realizing, oh, this can get better. This can get better. The things that are bothering them in general with their bodies and their hair and skin and aging. And so I've seen an increase in interest in that with their appointments. I'm seeing an increase in interest of hair loss. I think what's happening is people are seeing on social media different treatment options and how people can go from thin hair to thicker hair, and they're realizing that that's more achievable than they used to.
Now, she also says what's good for some people may not be good for others, especially when it comes to some social media accounts promoting obscure products to set themselves apart.
There's some things that have trended over time, like essential oils. A lot of people have allergies to them, and so sometimes they can cause more harm than good. I love the idea, but there's a lot of allergy reactions to that. Another one recently would be beef tallow. Sometimes that would be okay on some eczema spots, but I definitely wouldn't be putting it on the face. It's going to cause more problems than good, inflaming the oil glands and causing other problems.
Bo Thorpe says there are also a lot of damaging things that influencers are promoting, like repeated hair extensions.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The only man to serve time directly connected with the disappearance and death of Spanish 14 Kiplin Davis released today. Kiplin missing and presumed deceased since 1995.
And I'm looking at what he admitted to, what he actually said, which is this. On May 2nd, 1995 in Utah County, I did aid, abet, solicit, or encourage another in recklessly causing the death of Kiplin Davis. In other words, he's not saying I did it or I was involved in it, except that he aided, solicited, or encouraged. I mean, that's the aiding and abetting statute, basically.
The time is 2 o'clock on Tuesday, February 10th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, could Timmy Brent Olson face any future charges or investigation? We'll get our legal analyst's take. Also this hour,
I would like people to remember that she was a person, that her parents are still fighting for her whereabouts. Her parents are very strong. They leave the light on every night for her.
Justice for Kiplin. We have a special half hour looking at the case and how it's still affecting Kiplin's friends and family more than 30 years later. But first, our top stories. Jury selection is underway in the case of Corey Richens, the Camas woman accused of fatally poisoning her husband, then writing a children's book about grief. But the judge had to address a critical last-minute request first.
The questioning of jury candidates was initially set to be closed off to the public until another local media outlet filed a motion asking the judge to reconsider. The judge did end up ruling that the media could sit in and listen unless one of the candidates asked for a closed hearing. Potential jurors then appeared virtually and answered questions from the judge, defense, and prosecution, like if they'd heard of the case before, if they'd researched it, if they knew anyone associated with it, or anything that could potentially cause them to have bias. Corey Richens sat and listened closely alongside her attorneys in the courtroom and at one point even nodded in approval at one of the candidates' answers. Richens is facing a number of charges, including aggravated murder and attempted murder. She could face life in prison if she's convicted. The court's expected to finalize the jury next week. The trial set to begin on the 23rd of this month. In Park City, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News. Today, the FBI has released new videos and photos of a person who broke into Nancy Guthrie's home.
As the videos and photos retrieved from Nancy Guthrie's front doorbell camera are going out around the world now, Savannah Guthrie has taken to Instagram, writing, quote, "We believe she is still alive. Bring her home," end quote. In the video, the intruder is wearing a full ski mask with only his eyes and his mouth showing. At one point, he holds a flashlight in his mouth while he tries to cover up the camera. He tries to put brush over the camera lens. He has gloves on, a backpack. There's what appears to be a gun in his front waistband as he manipulates the camera, eventually just hitting it with his fist.
That is ABC's Alex Stone reporting. Other national stories KSL is following. The Department of the Interior has removed a rainbow flag that once flew outside the historic Stonewall Inn in New York City.
Community leaders and activists are expected to gather outside the Stonewall Inn this evening to protest the removal. LGBTQ plus advocate Jay Walker posting on social media, the plan is to express our outrage at the Trump National Parks Department's erasure of our history and our flag. The Interior Department says the rainbow flag, which was on federal land, was taken down in accordance with Trump administration guidance stating only the U.S. flag and other authorized flags be flown on NPS-managed flagpoles. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
The Stonewall Inn was the site of a deadly police raid in 1969 and has since become a symbol of the gay rights movement, designated a national monument in 2016. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow losing some ground headed into the close, closing up by 52 points, sitting at 50,188. S&P 500 down by 23 points, and the NASDAQ down by 136 points. That's more than 0.5%. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. And what's happening, Michelle?
Working on a couple of crashes. The first is northbound I-15, about 1,000 north. It's off to the right shoulder. The second is in Salt Lake City. This is at 300 west, 600 north, and they're still working on trying to get that cleared. Whipple Service Champions is Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services. And they are our #1 choice for offering honest second opinions. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
20% chance of showers expected across the Wasatch Front tonight, increasing to a 70% chance by tomorrow. Tomorrow's high a bit warmer with 56 degrees for the high, 50 for a high on Thursday, and a 50% chance of showers on Thursday as well. 44 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Elevate your dining at The Roof, now serving lunch and dinner. Enjoy city views and cozy favorites like signature steak, pork, or salmon entrees. Visit theroofslc.com.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait. And don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Tired of hot, uncomfortable dress shirts that don't hold up? Meet Serve Clothing. The mesh collar shield blocks sweat stains, and built-in vents keep you comfortable under suits in any season. Extra length stays tucked. Antimicrobial fabric keeps you fresh, and every shirt is backed by a 2-year guarantee. And right now is your chance to get the best for free. Head to serveclothing.com/win and enter for a chance to win $500 in free Serve shirts, so you can start your mission with gear that works as hard as you do. While you're there, get mission ready at the Serve Missionary Hub. Hear from recently returned missionaries. Get mission tips, advice, and more at serveclothing.com/win. Serve shirts sold out 4 times last year. Enter the $500 missionary giveaway and grab yours before they're gone at serveclothing.com/win. Serve Clothing. Dress shirts that actually serve you. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents aged 18 or older. Void where prohibited. Entry must be received by May 31st, 2026. One winner will receive a $500 credit to serveclothing.com. Official rules and details at serveclothing.com/win.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. After serving 15 years for his role in the disappearance and murder of Spanish 14 Kiplin Davis, Timmy Brent Olson is being released from prison today. He pleaded guilty to manslaughter, saying he didn't kill Kiplin in 1995, but saw someone else do it and helped move the body. After more than 30 years since the 15-year-old's disappearance, Olson has never said who he helped or where they moved her body. To this day, Kiplin's family still does not have closure. Justice for Kiplin, we have an in-depth look at the case on Midday. We begin first with the news today that Olson is being released from prison. Joining me live is KSL legal analyst Greg Skorda. So, Greg, explain for us how someone could admit to killing a person and then only get 15 years in prison for manslaughter.
Yeah, that's a good question. So he was charged with murder. He was charged with first-degree felony murder, which carries a prison term of up to life. The state didn't have as strong a case as I think it would have liked, in that they didn't have a body. They didn't have a lot of information about who caused her death or under what circumstances. They had charged him with murder. And I think that both sides recognized, certainly Olson recognized the risk that he could be convicted of murder. And the state recognized the risk that it could very well lose the case. And so they compromised. It's a plea bargain. It happens a lot, and in this case, I think it's caused some people some grief. But he pled guilty to manslaughter, which carries 1 to 15 years in prison. And the Board of Pardons said, we're going to keep you for every day of that 15 years unless you are willing to cooperate with authorities and help find a body and identify other people involved. And he didn't, and so he spent the entire 15 years in prison.
So if they find her body and determine that Olson was actually the person who killed her, does that mean he can't be retried for murder, for instance?
He absolutely cannot. Jeopardy's attached. I mean, we'd have double jeopardy, and he could not be charged with anything. He could confess to it tomorrow, Maria, and say, yeah, I did it, and they couldn't do anything. I would say this. We talk about the 15 years. At the time he was sentenced in 2011, which was 15 years ago, he had already been in jail for 3.5 years, and the judge gave him what they call credit for time served, but the Board of Pardons didn't. So he actually served, I know this isn't a huge difference, but he actually served, by my calculation, 18.5 years for this, 15, but he'd already done 3 years on the federal charge before he got sentenced on the state case. I know I'm confusing things, but he did 18.5 years.
So let's go back to the plea deal for a second. I mean, usually when you make a deal, you give something, but what did he give in return for getting this lesser sentence?
Well, he gave the state the opportunity not to have to prove a case that was iffy. He gave them a guilty plea, and it was a case that I think they would have had a hard time winning, and he may very well have prevailed and been found not guilty. So he gave the state a win, and I assume that the Kiplin Davis family may have been frustrated, but they would have, by all accounts, been consulted on this and must have felt like getting something, even if it's only 15 years, is better than nothing.
You mentioned he was denied parole, an early parole, because he wouldn't say where Kiplin's body was, but is there anything that could legally force him to divulge that information?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. He has no. I know it's a problem to think about this, but he has no legal obligation to disclose anything at this point. And my guess is he's gone this long, he probably won't.
Okay, so what about Kiplin's family? Do they have any other sort of legal recourses to find real justice for what happened to her?
Well, the case remains open with respect to the other individuals involved. And in Utah, there is no statute of limitations for murder, so they could always be charged. If some evidence comes forward at some point, which is very unlikely because it's already been over 30 years since she was found missing, that they could prosecute someone else. But with respect to Timmy Olson, there's nothing else the state can do, or her family.
You've been a defense attorney for I don't know how many years, Greg, but how unique is this case?
Well, every case is unique, but this one is very unique. And I've never seen a person who went and pled guilty to a 1 to 15 prison sentence and do the entire 15 years, let alone a few more months than that. So it's not at all common that the board will keep somebody for the entirety of their sentence. On the other hand, I completely understand the frustration that the public feels right now over a person that some people may say got away with murder, but he didn't. I mean, he spent a significant part of his life in prison, and he'll never get that back.
All right. Thanks, Greg. That is KSL's legal analyst, Greg Skordas, joining us. Stay with us. Our special coverage, Justice for Kipling, continues in just a moment.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yup, more energy and the peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Take the first step. Visit CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Hi, Grandma. Can Nina come over for dinner?
Sure. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
If anyone ever does, I want you to say, no, I have too much respect for my family and I don't want to get in trouble.
I promise, Grandma.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
As the story of Kipling Davis resurfaces more than 30 years after her disappearance, her friends and family are remembering the bubbly 15-year-old who went missing from Spanish Fork High School on a regular school day in May of 1995. Justice for Kipling, our special coverage continues. I spoke with one of Kipling's friends who asked to remain anonymous to get her thoughts and feelings about the whole situation right now.
Right now, I think it's important to focus on Kipling and her family and the journey that they've taken, and the fact that they're still fighting for her, I think, is incredible. And I think it's important to remember her, that she was an innocent life, that she was a beautiful person, and, you know, she's gone. And so it's important, I think it's important to remember that, you know, she was very special.
Tell us more about Kipling and who you knew her to be.
She was very bright, very bubbly, just a typical 15-year-old. We were in theater together. She was involved in my first car accident ever, and she made me laugh the whole time, which is a very stressful situation. So she was always very happy and just a great friend to be around.
Talk to me just for a minute about what happened when she first went missing. I mean, do you remember what the community felt and how people reacted? Were you told that she just ran away, or what was that like?
Yeah, when she first went missing, there was a lot of push that she was a runaway, which her parents and those that knew her knew wasn't possible. She wasn't that kind of person. And it was very frustrating because that's not what happened. And it was very frustrating that that's where it was leaning. I had many counselors and people, adults, tell me, no, she just ran away. She just ran away. And I was very adamant, no, she wouldn't do that. There's something wrong. So that, and then after that, the case just kind of went silent for a while. And that was very frustrating to have a friend who I cherished, and it seemed like no one cared except her family.
As the news of Timmy's release from prison comes back into the news cycle, what would you like people to remember about Kiplin, her family, and the continued search for answers?
I would like people to remember that she was a person, that her parents are still fighting for her whereabouts. Her parents are very strong. They leave the light on every night for her. It's important to look into other missing and exploited kid cases. I know I did some research and found out that her parents work with that, and I think it's important to look at all cases, not just assume that someone's run away, but to really focus. There's a lot more missing kid cases that we don't know about, and we should focus on those too.
Kiplin's family members continue to hold out hope for answers someday and often post messages on a Facebook page called Find Kiplin Davis. Supporters of Kiplin wearing blue today in remembrance of her. Blue was her favorite color. As just mentioned, Kiplin's disappearance was originally treated as a runaway situation. Let's talk about the effects of that kind of language next. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU, up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Michelle?
Still working on a crash northbound I-15 at 1000 North off to the right shoulder. And then we have a new crash that's popped up. This is westbound in Parley's Canyon, west of Mountain Dell Golf Course, that is also on the right shoulder. Arrive in style for all of life's events, from the first suit to the first dance, preparing to serve or starting a life together. Every age, every milestone. For nearly 60 years, Mr. Mack, helping you look your best for all of life's events. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
A warning on cryptocurrency kiosk scams from AARP Utah. Scammers are getting smarter, and Utahns are paying the price. Criminals are using cryptocurrency ATMs to commit fraud, stealing people's retirement savings and costing Utahns millions of dollars a year. Many scams start with an unexpected call, text, or email from someone claiming to be a trusted source, like your bank, a business you use, or even law enforcement. They'll tell you there's an urgent problem and instruct you to take cash to a crypto kiosk or ATM. They may even stay on the phone pressuring you to act fast and keep it secret. But once you feed cash into a crypto ATM, it's converted to cryptocurrency and sent to the scammer's wallet, and it can be almost impossible to recover. Remember, no legitimate organization will ever ask you to pay with cryptocurrency. Learn more at the rising cost of cryptocurrency scams by visiting aarp.org/UT. A message paid for by AARP Utah.
For years I've said this, when it comes to the person you love, there are 3 dates you never, ever want to forget or overlook. 1, birthday. 2, anniversary. 3, it's Valentine's Day. And the perfect place to celebrate Valentine's Day with the one you love, it's Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. First of all, of course, the best food you have ever had. But the ambiance, the wait service is absolutely incredible. And we have 2 locations. One, Hotel Park City, up in the mountains after a day of skiing. That would be perfect. And of course also in downtown Salt Lake City at 275 South West Temple. The steaks are divine. You're going to love the seafood dishes, poultry, whatever it is, cooked to perfection at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Be sure to make your reservations now for Valentine's Day.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Washington County Fair Legacy Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Starting price is too low to advertise. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Utah State Fair Park and Washington County Fair Legacy Park. Deep discounts. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. 2 locations, Salt Lake City and Hurricane. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Plus, free premium delivery with any bed and base. Ends Monday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it, with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Justice for Kiplin, and we continue our deep dive into the disappearance and presumed murder of Spanish Fork teen Kiplin Davis. Before the break, we heard from one of Kiplin's friends who said that originally they were all told that Kiplin had simply run away. Framing missing children as just a runaway can do a lot of harm. That's according to Rhonda DeCare, founder of Missing in America Network. She says law enforcement can find themselves in a sticky situation when trying to distinguish an abducted child from someone who ran away.
The only way that they know is they have to have some kind of proof that a child was abducted. And most of those reasons are pretty obvious, like a window is open in a young child's room, or it's caught on camera, or there's an eyewitness, or, I've even seen cases where someone walks in the front door and takes the kid and runs off. That's usually somebody they know, a relative, but there has to be clear proof that an abduction has happened.
Are you frustrated by the way runaways are treated then? Because, as you said, these are still missing children who are at risk.
Yeah, absolutely I am. People, a lot of times people say, oh, they just ran away. But the minute, like I said a few minutes ago, the minute that they walk out their door, they are at risk. Within the first 48 hours of running away, every teen will come in contact with a trafficker. And those statistics are very well known. They will come in contact with people that want to exploit them. And even if a child does run away, it's very possible and it's very frequent that it happens. They've been lured online by a predator. And so just because they packed a bag and walked out the door of their own free will does not mean they're in a safe place. There are times when they might do that and they might go stay at a friend's house and they'll come back in a couple days when they've cooled off. But as soon as you know your teen has left, you don't know that they're at a friend's house. You don't know if they've been lured online. There's many possibilities of where they could be. And so every single parent's nightmare is coming true in that moment because they need to find out if their child's safe.
Rhonda says it's important to keep talking about missing children and teens because things like this still happen today. She says that if you, the parent, ever find yourself in a situation where you think your child has gone missing, you should act quickly.
The first thing that they should do is they should call the police. They should call 911. They definitely need to get the police involved immediately. And the second thing is they need to get their neighbors and their friends involved, and they need to figure out where the child went. If they walked out the door, they need to start driving around looking. They need to get their pictures of them ready for when the police get there. They need to gather any social media devices, and the police will help them take a look at that and see if there's any clues as to, where they went or why they're gone. Definitely alert your community so they can be out there looking right away. The first 24 hours is when you really need to engage your community to get out there, because that's when, they might be walking down the street, they might be going into a store, and we have a better chance of seeing them. And then definitely reach out to community organizations like us, like Missing in America, and so that we can help you with the search, we can help you amplify the awareness. Here at Missing in America, we utilize billboards. We'll immediately get them on billboards so that their face is out there and the community can help find them.
Anything you'd like to add? Any final thoughts for us?
Yeah, my biggest thing is that we think that at some point, if something like this happens to us, that the police are going to come in on their white horses and they're going to solve everything for us. And that's just not the case. And you don't realize that until you have a missing child. The police will do as much as they can, but they're limited in their resources, and they're limited. So we really need to rely on the community members to help us find our children. And by that means going out looking, helping, passing out flyers. But it also means that any businesses in our communities, if they could step up and help by donating billboard space, by donating flyer printing, by anything that they can do to amplify awareness for our children, we're going to have to all work together to solve this problem.
Rhonda DeCare is the founder of Missing in America Network, and even though it's been more than 30 years since Kiplin went missing, there are still so many unanswered questions. Utah Department of Public Safety's cold case tip hotline is open to anyone who might have information on Kiplin's disappearance and presumed murder. Now, if you think you know anything or remember anything from that time, you can reach DPS by calling the confidential hotline at 833-DPS-SAFE. That's 833-377-7233. We also have more information posted about Kiplin and the case at kslnewsradio.com. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. New developments in the fight over the future of Utah's congressional maps. Groups involved in the original lawsuit asking to join a new federal lawsuit. The 2026 Winter Games on KSL News Radio. We'll get a check-in on a speed skating crash with KSL 5 TV's Deanie Wimmer. And KSL traffic. Michelle?
A couple of crashes northbound I-15 on both on the right shoulder, one at 1000 North, the other by Warm Springs Road. Maria?
It's 2:30.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. A possible break in the Nancy Guthrie case. The FBI released new images and video from the 84-year-old security camera at her front door of her Tucson home. Those images showing a potential suspect on the day she vanished. Here's ABC's Trevor Roll.
We know this is the first major breakthrough. It's also the first piece of concrete evidence that we have to go off of. For the past 9 days or so, the driving force that we've seen in terms of how investigators have been speaking publicly and how the family has been speaking publicly has been in response to unverified ransom notes, a pair of them which were sent out to media organizations. Those have never been confirmed to be real. It's possible that they are, but it's also possible that they are not.
The Guthrie family was shown the images prior to their public release, according to law enforcement sources. NBC also reporting the Guthrie family does not recognize the person in the images, which is why they were released publicly. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. More than 2 million Utahns' personal data has been compromised by the Department of Health and Human Services. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
A new report from the Office of the Utah State Auditor says the department has some major pitfalls when it comes to protecting data. The SAFE and eChart system used allow way too many people to have access to personal data, and there's not a solid way to monitor that. The audit found the Division of Child and Family Services team that handles public records requests has also put children at risk by having significant backlogs and even releasing sensitive documents to the wrong patients.
On top of endangering patients, the state auditor says the department puts employees in danger by lacking a clear and effective incident response and training program. Other local stories KSL is following. Tough questions for Governor Cox today as Utah officials updated media covering the Winter Games in Italy on plans for the 2034 event.
Reporters from international outlets wanted to know what Governor Cox thought about disparaging comments from President Trump aimed at athletes and how Utah can keep projecting an image of welcoming the world when the news coming out of the U.S. to international audiences is anything but. Here's what he said.
Those are political issues that will be worked through. 8 years is a long ways away for sure. We have LA 28 coming out, and what I would say is come visit now. Everything you see on the news isn't the only thing happening in our country.
Becky Bruce, KSL News Radio.
President Alan H. Oaks of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints spoke to students at BYU today about holding fast to their commitment to the Lord and to the church. He said those of diminishing faith and activity in the church are a major concern for him.
God is relentless in his loving pursuit of each of you. Keep the commandments and be true to the covenant so many of you have made to guide you along the covenant path. Never let your secular learning limit your horizons.
President Oaks also talked about humility and how we are humble. When we are humble, we are better able to hear the voice of the Lord and follow his teachings. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ended the day up by 52 points, sitting at 50,188 at the close. S&P 500 down by 23 and the NASDAQ down by 136 points. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. And here's Michelle Rowe.
A couple of crashes northbound I-15, both off to the right shoulder. One at about 1,000 north, the other just south of Warm Springs Road. Also looking at building traffic on Bangerter Highway around the 201. Bad weather and parking lots love GoPave Utah. GoPave Utah loves snow. Don't wait for bad weather. Schedule a snow removal service with GoPave Utah. Visit GoPaveUtah.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a hope of showers alive in the forecast for this week. 20% chance tonight, 70% chance by tomorrow, and a 50% chance on Thursday. 45 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The source is where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Amanda, one of my favorite things to do when I go to the theater is laugh. Any show, it doesn't matter. So one that's designed to make me laugh from start to finish, boy, that is in my wheelhouse. And that's what we've got with Peter Pan Goes Wrong.
When we went into the theater, I'm not sure what we were expecting, but we started laughing early on. And then I realized, I'm laughing that big, loud, obnoxious laugh of mine. But mine wasn't the loudest laugh in the theater. We were all laughing, and that made it more fun.
But you walk in, it actually takes a second to realize, wait, this is actually funny from the moment the curtain rises, and it makes you laugh all the way to the end.
We need that, Andy. Don't we need that?
Oh, it's so helpful, and it's so fun to do in a group of people. It just makes everything more enjoyable.
This is in the Jewel Box stage, and then in the brand new theater.
We've got more laughs with Hallmarked, a spoof on that brand new stage, a new theater at Hale Center Theater to enjoy.
And you can still get season tickets and enjoy all of the wonderful shows, including Anastasia, to finish out the year at Hale Center Theater.
So you can get tickets by calling the box office at 801-984-9000 or online at hct.org.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Mormon Women for Ethical Government has filed a motion to intervene in a federal lawsuit which challenges a state court's decisions around the new redistricting maps. We told you about the lawsuit last week, which was filed by Representative Celeste Malloy and Burgess Owens, as well as several local and county leaders from around the state against Utah's lieutenant governor. Representative Malloy joined KSL News Radio last week to share why she felt the federal lawsuit was necessary.
The only map that's been challenged is the congressional map. And the United States Constitution says that state legislatures draw those maps, and the state constitution says that legislatures draw those maps. And so we're just making sure that we're using all of the tools available to us to make sure we get a good outcome here. So the state has their appeal at the state Supreme Court, and we filed this complaint at the federal court just to make sure that we're getting the questions answered as quickly as we possibly can.
The lawsuit, directed at the state's lieutenant governor since her office oversees elections in the state. Mormon Women for Ethical Government and the League of Women Voters of Utah were plaintiffs in the original case over the maps, and now they want to be involved in this new federal suit.
So we have been a plaintiff in the state case, and then now that the federal case has been filed, we filed a motion to intervene. And we will be filing a motion to dismiss later this week as well. We are arguing, I think, that the state court did the right thing, that they were obligated by law to ensure a compliant map. It was in place for the 2026 election. And the legal theory that is being put forward in this federal case is one that the U.S. Supreme Court has rejected in the past. So it's this idea that it violates the federal elections clause. So we're intervening because we're trying to basically protect the ruling that we got in the state court with the new map.
The group's Emma Petty Adams tells KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman that their group thinks that they should be part of this case since it was their original case that played such a major role in getting us to this point.
As one of the original plaintiffs in the state case, it's this, we have the same group of people that are involved in this federal case. So we have us and the League of Women Voters, and then the individual Utah voters from across the political spectrum. And we are represented by Campaign Legal Center and Par Brown and Zimmerman Brewer. So our same set of attorneys, same group of plaintiffs. And so, our basic argument here is that we'd want to protect our state court victory, and we believe that the law is on our side in that respect.
She says their effort for new congressional maps has always been a bipartisan one, so she's sad to see it turn into such a partisan fight as national leaders have jumped into the conversation.
So it's interesting in this case, the effort that we've been involved in has been a cross-partisan one from the very beginning. Our MWAG members are pretty evenly split between the two major parties, with a pretty big chunk that are independent or unaffiliated. So, we've been coming at this from a real principled stance. I know that, over this past year, as redistricting has caught the attention on the national stage, it's definitely become become a partisan issue for many people. And so we do definitely get pushback from partisan actors. And for example, we're also been doing a call to action in the state of Virginia, where the Democrats are the ones who are doing the gerrymandering. And so in that case, the Democrats aren't so happy with us that we're doing a call to action there to push back on it. So to answer your question in a more simple way, we do get pushback, and in general, that pushback comes from those who are doing the job of parties, which is to try to consolidate power for their party. And so we want to consolidate power for the people as a cross-partisan group rather than any one party.
Adams says federal court has granted an expedited hearing, so she expects a rather quick resolution to this particular lawsuit. In just 30 seconds, we'll check in on the Winter Games with KSL TV's Deanie Wimmer. Stay with us.
Who doesn't love winning? Right now, at ksl.com/win, you'll find exciting contests with prizes you actually want. Tickets, gift cards, and more. It's fast, it's free, and you can enter in just a few clicks. New contests are added all the time, so there's always another chance to win big. Don't miss out. Visit ksl.com/win today and enter to win. That's ksl.com/win.
The 2026 Winter Games on Middays with Maria, live from Milan. Brought to you by America First Credit Union.
The United States now bringing in 7 medals from the 2026 Winter Games, but still only 2 golds. Even with that, I'm sure the spirits aren't too dampened. Let's ask KSL 5 TV's Deanie Wimmer, who's live in Milan. So, Deanie, are the Americans still pleased with how things are going so far?
You know, I think that you're right. Everybody's happy and just eager to be celebrating their country, celebrating athletics, celebrating unity, all of those things. And you can see that. I'm out on a jog here, and I saw one of the fan zones, where we used to have concerts in the Medals Plaza. They have a little concert going on in the rain, and they're just dancing and having a great time.
Doesn't matter that it's raining, huh? So obviously a great mood there. I understand that you have also found a super fan who's just been to a ton of these games.
We met the most delightful guy. He's hilarious. He's been to 18 Olympics.
Wow.
Just this games alone, he's going to 39 events. He maps it out. He buys his tickets as soon as they go on sale. He's already on the waiting list for Los Angeles. It's that kind of planning. He has 2 hotel rooms to be by the venue so he doesn't get, too involved in the crowds and everything like that. It's just he's got it down to a science, and he loves it.
Wow, that is incredible planning. Does he bring his family with him, or is he just all by his lonesome?
He has different. He's like a nephew who will join him and for part of it, but they're just not as big super fans as this super fan that we have he's from Salt Lake.
Okay, did he say he's coming to the 2034 games?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that'll be the easy one for him, right?
Right. Okay.
Right in his backyard.
Honestly. So I understand that, you've been watching the women's speed skating relay. So get us up to date on that.
There were some struggles today at the speed skating track. And when we talked to some of the athletes, they said that the ice, that it was really soft. And that ice, they said it was more suitable for figure skating than it is for speed skating. Figure skating, soft ice makes for better landings. It absorbs the landing impact. But hard ice is better for speed. And, so Utah's ice oval in Kearns is known to be some of the hardest, fastest ice in the world. And these skaters, they fell. A couple of them fell and said that they were really going to have to change their gear. They were going to have to practice on this ice because it was soft and slushy and really giving them trouble.
I had no idea that there was that kind of a difference in the kind of ice. I mean, we've all been to an ice rink and see the ice get kind of slushy, but you would think for the Winter Games that the ice would be perfect for them.
Well, and they try to get that, but they according to the International Skating Union, it's the ice master's job at this arena to make the ice suitable for each sport. It hosts both events. And so they've got to hit that really narrow spot of temperature and all kinds of other things that go into it so that it accommodates both sports.
Okay, so hopefully those that were in those crashes weren't injured, though, were they? Or are they going to be able to continue?
No, they're injured. I mean, they're not injured, but they are more resolved than ever to figure it out, to get the skates and the practice time and their legs under them so they don't struggle like that.
Right. I saw a post that you put up that you finally got your Olympic pins there in Italy.
Oh, hey, Maria, do you like them? They have the little spinner.
They are cool. Yeah, that rotating spinner in the middle, that was awesome.
Yes, I'll save you one when we come back.
Okay, awesome. I'm assuming that you're giving those out there to folks.
Yeah, well, we're trying to save them. I guess I'm learning this from Alex Cabrero, who is the Olympics master. They're currency out here. And so, like, if you need help with directions, you trade. If you need to borrow someone's computer charger, like I did, you give them a pin. If you want access in some cases, maybe a pin might help grease the wheels, that kind of thing.
All right, Deanie. We look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.
Sounds good. See ya.
Bye. That is KSL 5 TV's Deanie Wimmer live from Milan. Coming up at 7 o'clock on KSL 5, women's alpine skiing and men's figure skating. You'll definitely want to check that out. Then stick around for KSL 5 news at 10. The 2026 Winter Games on Midday with Maria Shilaos, brought to you by America First Credit Union. America First Credit Union has everything you need to get your money working, so head to americafirst.com and become a member today. After the break, we'll take a closer look at the cost of winter sports here in Utah. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposits get you $300. Love where you bank. Michelle?
We have reports of a medical situation. This is 5600 West, 5400 South. The earlier crashes northbound I-15 at 1000 North and Warm Springs Road have cleared. Don't miss the Sportsman's Vacation and RV Show. It's coming to the Mountain America Expo February 12th through 15th. Hundreds of RVs, all in one location. Buy tickets online at UtahRVShow.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
This week's movie show brought to you by Sound Sleep. Get a free sleep screening and a free sleep consultation by tuning in on Friday morning. Sound Sleep with 7 locations in Utah.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does it feel like someone's stabbing a knife into your heel? Or does your lower back give you problems as the day goes on? The Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. And now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100%.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love, like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, my back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Learn more or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com and come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet store. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge, and Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hi, this is Doug Wright here with another experiment you can try at home regarding water. You can take 4 bags of water softener salt, lift 3 of the bags with one hand and 1 bag with your other hand. Yeah, I know. Now, if you're like most people, you'll probably find that 3 bags of salt weigh about 3 times as much as the 1 bag of salt. And that's an important thing to bear in mind when you're shopping for a water softener. You see, in our home, we have Kinetico, and the Kinetico water softeners are so well designed, they use only 1 bag of salt for every 3 bags that other water softeners use. Now, I can speak to this because we have had a Kinetico soft water system now in 2 different homes. And I'm not a fan of lifting those bags of salt. This is just one of the many reasons you really should look into Connecticut. Their number is 801-576-8600 or go to softwaterutah.com.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. Keep in mind, it's not just you.
I owed roughly $34,000.
$61,000. When the IRS first contacted me, I was horrified.
When they start hounding you and harassing you and assaulting you.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
From what I got told was being done in a matter of 2 years, he had done in a matter of like 48 hours.
It's a great thing to have the IRS off your back.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
Once I signed on with Jordan, I never talked to the IRS again.
It changed our lives.
You need someone to fight for you. Visit endtaxworry.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit endtaxworry.com. That's endtaxworry.com.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Winter sports might be looking a little more fun after watching the Winter Games in Milan, but the cost can be daunting. KSL TV's Daniel Woodruff looks into it and reports how to get into skiing, snowboarding, and more for less than you might think.
Utah has the greatest snow on Earth, but enjoying it isn't always cheap.
No. No, it's not.
That's why Lily and Rolly came to this ski shop in Sandy.
We're out here trying to trade in my old snowboard to get a bigger board for my son.
Utah Ski Gear offers trade-ins and sells used equipment.
There's no need for a new board. We're just going out there to have fun. We're not looking to make it to the Olympics. We're just going to have fun on the mountain.
We have quite a selection in all different lengths.
Travis Moyce owns this shop. All in, he says, used ski equipment for kids costs as low as $117, $153 for adults. That's a fraction of what it costs brand new.
Big difference. Big difference, yeah. I mean, you can get a whole used package for the price of just new bindings, let alone the skis and the boots.
Another thing you can do to try to save money is look at last year's models. For example, this is a brand new ski boot, but from 2025, it used to cost $649, now $389. Just be careful of used helmets. Many experts advise replacing them every few years. Other ways to save on the slopes include going to smaller resorts, skiing later in the day, and buying a season pass early when it's still on sale. Also consider shopping around for passes and taking advantage of the Ski Utah Season Passport for kids that costs as low as $69.
It's definitely possible to ski even with a family and not have it be super expensive.
Of course, there's more to do in Utah than just ski and snowboard. The Utah Olympic Oval in Kearns offers ice skating, hockey, and curling. The Oval provides free lessons for kids at certain schools, and for others, scholarships are available.
You are able to get up to 25% off of your session of the sport that you would like to learn.
The Oval's website has more info for those who just want to try it out or for those who want to become a future Olympian.
No matter your age or your ability, we have a home here.
Daniel Woodruff, KSL 5 News.
Okay, and with today's economy, it's always good to find a good deal, right?
The 2026 Winter Games on KSL News Radio.
That's so metal. Champions at the ongoing Winter Games say their medals are breaking during the celebrations. Start Here host Brad Milkey has more.
Already this week in Milan and Cortina, Americans have been putting their best foot forward, whether it's laced up in a skate or a ski boot. And once Olympic medals start being awarded, the parties start. But in this case, the celebrations seem to have revealed a flaw in the design of the medals themselves. Lots of people watching the women's downhill skiing event were watching American Lindsey Vonn. She suffered a scary crash. She's okay now, she says. But American Breezy Johnson managed to shock the world with a gold medal.
It's a tough road and it's a tough sport. I think that's the beauty and the madness of it, that it can hurt you so badly, but you keep coming back for more.
What she might have been expecting even less was, as she was jumping up and down later, her medal snapped off her neck.
Did I see correctly? You broke the medal?
Yeah. Don't jump in them. I was jumping in excitement and it broke.
Later that night, the U.S. won the team figure skating event. Alyssa Liu, the 20-year-old star with a killer axle and tiger-striped hair, revealed her medal had broken as well. Her teammate Ellie Cam said it suffered some dings at the bus stop for athletes.
It just popped off and it fell on the ground and it got a couple dents on it.
And it's not just the Americans suddenly chasing after their medals. The German biathlon relay team were dancing around when clonk. And in all these cases, athletes say, it's not the medal itself that's the problem. Rather, it's that it doesn't want to stay on the ribbon around your neck.
There is a special pocket, as you can see over here, where the ribbon will take place. So the ribbon will be inserted within the medal itself via a special feature.
Back in December, when the Olympic Committee showed off these prizes, officials said the ribbons would be held in place with this key clip. As Breezy Johnson gave a quick show and tell,
So there's the medal.
she said that's the thing that seemed to snap off.
And here's the little piece that is supposed to go in the ribbon to hold it in the medal. And yeah, it came apart.
She now says she's received a replacement for what is perhaps the shortest-lived gold medal in history. Alyssa Liu posted, "My medal don't need the ribbon." Olympic officials say they're looking into this, but remember, there are still hundreds of Olympic and Paralympic medals to be awarded, and athletes are warning each other, maybe don't party too hard, especially if you won gold. Those things are heavy. Remember when the Paris medals had the little cute pieces of Eiffel Tower and then people started to complain that they were corroding? Like, what would you rather have, a rusty medal or one that you couldn't take anywhere without worrying about losing it? I'm Brad Milkey. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, that is so much. Andy Cupp joining me in studio. That would be so frustrating to have this cool new medal. You're excited to wear it. You wear it on the podium, and then just minutes later, it kind of falls off of the...
Well, and especially with the cost of these medals right now. I mean,
the cost of gold
every
right now?
morning I listen to Andy and Amanda, and Amanda will say the price of gold per ounce, and we're up over $5,000. So I think they said this morning it was like $2,500
for each of those
medals. So yeah, you want it to be
I
tip-top
think I'd
shape.
be putting it on a plaque and putting it on a wall or something.
Yeah, more
rather
than
than
likely.
wearing it around.
But you got to get it home first.
It's true. It's true. All right. Thanks for joining us. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, a short edition up next. Have a great afternoon.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Catlin. 46 in Salt Lake City. We have showers around Provo, Lehigh, Sandy this afternoon. KSL's top story. Jury selection is underway at the